Hello, friends. This is Critical Mess, episode number 49. It's a podcast where three gentle sirs talk about movies that critics and audiences don't agree on, like tonight's film, The Saint. I'm Nick Honeywell, here with Grizz Griswold, Brian MC Cullen, producer Ben. Say hello, gents.
Hello, gang.
Hey, Brian MC Cullen here. Excited to talk about Val Kilmer playing the Batman tonight.
Yes.
We will James Bond?
Wait, never mind. I got my movies mixed up. Yeah, actually.
We're going to get into that, but before we do, we're going to do an icebreaker, as we always do. A very simple icebreaker tonight, but I think a good one. One I think that, Brian, you may have proposed in a previous episode. Here it is. What's a movie with a bad ending?
I got to start. It's a movie that, dare I say, otherwise would be perfect, if not for the ending. And the ending, because it's a character who had come up during the movie a few times, but then it ended with this character. And I still love the movie, but it takes away from it being a perfect movie. The movie's Tombstone. And the ending is they're going to get fucking room service. Him and the girl. You know the girl I'm talking about?
Nope. No, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I know who you're talking about.
I cannot stand her. She's poor man's Princess Leia, poor man's Carrie Fisher, PMCF, and man, that just ruins the movie for me.
Mine's a pretty recent one, Barbarian, with our boy Justin Long. I just could not stand the ending of that film. Not to spoil it up for anybody, but I had a really hard time with it, so hard pass.
I can see that, yeah.
For as good as that movie was,
we talked about
all
that
the way
before.
through.
Yeah, we talked
all the way
about it
through.
before.
It was so good. Ruined by the
I
end.
liked it. I liked the end.
I did too. But I see where you're coming from, though.
Yeah.
Okay, the one I have to say is I actually brought this up a few episodes ago, maybe, but I have to bring it up again because it's just so fucking bad, and that is the movie Savages. Oliver Stone, 2012. It's got a lot of people in it, like Blake Lively's in it, Benicio del Toro, Taylor Kitsch, Selma Hayek. Kind of a fun movie, actually kind of a pretty good movie, kind of a crime cartel sort of action movie. And then the ending is just so unbelievably bad. Like, it's just, I'm not even going to explain it. It's not even worth your time.
When did that come out?
To explain.
Savages?
2012.
Okay.
Do you feel like it was like a studio note that like made them change the ending?
Yeah. It had to be. In fact, I feel like I read somewhere that it was.
Well, I haven't seen it. I just added it to my list. I mean, with that cast and especially how bad the ending was, I will be watching.
The ending is it's kind of unbelievable.
I can't wait.
It's unbelievable. But I have to also throw out a newer film that I just watched that I thought was pretty good, that I enjoyed. But boy, I really thought the ending really sucked, and that was Gladiator 2. Man, the last 10 to 15 minutes was rough and just boring and just not. I mean, I don't love the end of Gladiator 1, but it fits the movie well, and it's good. You know, he dies. It's it's
fitting.
It's a fitting ending. You know, touching the grain and the singing in the field is kind of like okay, but like Gladiator 2 is just 10 to 15 minutes at the end, not great. Like the movie though, I thought it was pretty good. Otherwise, so.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
All right, Grizz, social media announcement.
Yeah.
criticalmasspodcast.com. Check us out for all of our latest episodes and maybe some updated copy.
Oh, yeah.
At some point.
Wow.
Oh,
we are
you're good.
We're looking for an intern. So anybody
fully unpaid intern.
Send your resume to.
Imagine if we got an intern before sponsor.
That would be sick. That would be good.
We are optimists.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go into the feedback corner next. Feedback, guys?
Not any specific feedback about the podcast, but I will say that had some good comments to our Home Alone 2 episode. Some festive Christmassy comments. And I do want to say that because of a certain commenter's recommendation, I did check out In Midnight Clear, starring Ethan Hawke, Gary Sinise, several other people. And it was a really good movie. I don't know if I would watch it on Christmas. So that was probably the wrong decision to bring that up. But it was a good movie. Good World War II Christmas movie.
World War II Christmas movie. Okay.
So that brings us to the sock game. We're looking at a kind of a purple tonight. It's not home field. It's not home field. And that what was the I don't even know.
Homefieldapparel.com.
Homefieldapparel.com is what we're going to send you to. Not where the socks are from. If you want these, you're out of luck. I don't know where these came from.
These are out of stock everywhere.
Yes. But yes, we're working on it. We'll always take your feedback on the socks. And now I want to issue a retraction / correction from our last episode. So there was a part where Brian, we were talking about.
What did I say?
No,
about
nothing.
A car?
No, this is me. No, this is me. I did this. Remember we were talking about the Talk Boy, right? Isn't that what it was called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking about other films, that kind of had a fun toy or device, right? And I brought up Three Ninjas and the Game Gear.
Yeah.
And when I said it, I thought that sounded a little off for some reason.
Was it a
And
Nomad
here's why.
instead?
No.
Okay.
What a nice,
That's a good pull.
real good pull.
I know my handheld console.
Shit.
No, but the thing is, it wasn't Three Ninjas. It was a movie called Surf Ninjas.
Oh yeah.
It was a Three
With Hulk
Ninjas.
Hogan.
Yeah. Was he in that? I don't know that he's in that.
You just mentioned this movie. I've never heard of this in my life, but I've seen clips from it. I went to go rewatch the end of this earlier today, and Surf Ninjas came up. Is that weird?
That is.
That you
That
mentioned
is-
that, and that's what movie came up. And I was like,
That is
waiting
weird.
for the movie to start over, and I was going to scroll through it and do my notes. But
Well, the algorithm knows us.
I guess
and
so.
Anyways, Surf Ninjas is the movie that actually had a game based on the movie, Surf Ninjas game, that they were playing on the Game Gear in the film,
Okay.
which was incredible.
Mm.
But it was not Three Ninjas, Surf Ninjas. So we're sorry about that. We always are trying to get better and work on correcting the things we don't say correctly.
No Hulk Hogan.
I was about to say, I think
Yeah.
we need to offer a retraction on the retraction.
Yeah.
No Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Schneider though, and also Tone Loc.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Or yes, or as Macho Man Randy Savage would say, Hulk Hogan. Okay, sorry.
Leslie Nielsen's in it too. That's
All right. So that's it. That's the podcast. So join us next
Yeah.
time.
yeah,
No, actually, this podcast is about a different movie, not Surf Ninjas. I wish we could talk about Surf Ninjas. Maybe we will someday.
Check it. Might fit our criteria.
It might. But not tonight. Not anymore, at least. Tonight, we're going to spoil the movie we're talking about. It came out in 97, so hopefully that's all right. We recommend maybe watch the movie as you're watching the podcast because... Oh, wait, that doesn't work. If you're listening to the podcast, then you should watch the movie.
Yes.
You can't probably watch them both, or if you do, you're an animal. So that's really cool. The other thing is, we're going to score this movie. Why don't you give us your score in the comments?
Yeah.
Why don't you just let us know what you think of this film, and we'd love to know that.
Please.
Okay, so tonight we will be watching and talking about the movie from 1997, the year of our Lord, called The Saint.
Paramount Pictures presents
Nicholas Owen, Louis Guanella, Peter Damien.
All the names of Catholic saints.
a story about betrayal,
You've got to get away from me.
I'm not going anywhere until you tell me why you lied to me.
You don't know what you're dealing with here.
redemption,
I can't trust anybody. I never have.
and destiny.
Kill him.
And bring her to life.
If you want to live, never leave my side.
From the director of Clear and Present Danger and Patriot Games.
The army must be mobilized.
The balance of power is about to shift. Val Kilmer,
Tell me you love me.
Elisabeth Shue,
Who are you?
The Saint.
And so let's talk numbers on The Saint. So The Saint cost, you want to guess? You guys want to venture a guess what this cost? 1997 kind of action.
The budget?
Actually, yeah.
I mean,
What do you guys
there was a lot of location shots. There was some explosions. Val Kilmer was hot at the time.
Mhm.
Elizabeth Shue was hot at the
They were
time.
very hot.
is this
I
pre or
mean-
post Batman for him? I actually don't.
I think it's post.
Post.
This is
Yeah.
post Batman.
Just
It had to
barely
be really
post.
close though, right? 95,
Because
96?
wasn't Forever like 95?
94, 95, something like that. Yeah.
I'm going to just say, I'm just going to go 40 million. Wait, in 1997?
97.
I'm
97.
going to go 30 million.
30 million.
I was going to say 29 million.
40,
just to go
40
right-
million now, 30 then. You're going
I'm going
29.
to go 29 million back then.
I was gonna go high. I was gonna go like 90 million
Holy
Fuck.
shit.
That's massive.
because Val Kilmer and Russia.
Mm.
I wish we had like a Price is Right sound effect, like da 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 da, because
Hold on, I
Ben
can
fucking
do-
nailed it.
Ben,
Ben,
get on that.
Ben, shit. Oh, there it is. Okay,
So that was it, huh?
that was it. 90 million.
Wow. Holy shit.
You nailed it. 90 million on the dot.
I didn't even look that
I mean,
up.
I
That's
guess
a shit ton of
if
money.
you think about it, this is also the same year that the biggest movie ever came out, and that was Titanic, and its budget was 200 million.
Right.
So I guess
Yeah, I guess so.
budgets could get
Was
pretty
97,
high up
98
there.
that time that just they blew up
They
and
started getting real high. Yeah.
ballooned?
You guys want to guess the worldwide?
Val Kilmer was still hot.
Worldwide,
I'm gonna say 400.
I'm gonna say 210.
I was gonna say 225.
You're all out. You've all overbid.
Okay.
Overbid.
boy.
Oh shit.
Oh no, this is
You're all out.
not good.
No, $1.70.
Okay.
So,
It's 40 over. All right.
Yeah.
it did okay. It maybe broke even, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not. This guy or this film was directed by a guy. His name, I like his name. It's got a cool
I love
name.
it.
Yeah, Philip Noyce.
Noise.
Philip Noyce.
Noise.
He's done a few films you've likely heard of. He did Salt. You guys remember Salt?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Angelina Jolie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, kind of the Jack Ryan, right? Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games.
Mhm. I was shocked when I went on his IMDb. It said 63 directing credits. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's prolific.
He's done a lot. I don't think those are all films.
I haven't heard a lot of them
but
though. Yeah.
he's got
Episodes
TV
of
credits
TV,
and but he has done a fair number of films. He also did what else? Bone Collector. He did The Giver. That was probably one of his more recent ones. So who is in The Saint that we're talking about here tonight? Well, you got Val Kilmer, you got Elisabeth Shue, and then you've got some other people. Probably no one you guys have heard of, but we'll talk
Boris
about
the
them.
Blade.
You've got Boris the Blade, and I can't say his name, which is why we're just skipping over
wondered.
that. I'm gonna try. Rade Serbedzija.
You did great. Really proud of you on that
I
one.
only know him from
beautiful.
from Snatch as Boris the Blade, which is one of my favorite characters of all
Yeah,
time.
so good.
The
So
unkillable Boris the Blade, and then he's in Eyes Wide Shut. He's like the clerk at that like weird sex shop or whatever. Those are the
Yes.
3 movies I've seen him in.
So, Mr. Blade, please. I'm sorry about the pronunciation of
Wasn't
your
he
name.
in Mission Impossible too?
I'm not sure.
I feel like he was. Maybe not.
So you also have Henry Goodman. You've got Valerie Nikolaev. You've got Alan Armstrong. So that's what you got.
Wow. Stacked cast.
Yeah. Quick refresher about our criteria for the movies we talk about. So movies got to be fresh with audiences, rotten with critics, or vice versa on Rotten Tomatoes. Disparity, it's got to be 20% or so. So on Rotten Tomatoes, this film, The Saint, is at 30% with critics and 63% with audiences. So just hanging on there as fresh with the popcorn
Barely.
people. Just barely.
People just were not picking up what this film was putting down.
No, not really. And it is, a critical mess. So before we kind of jump into our ratings, we want to thank our sponsors tonight. So we're sponsored by, Old Elk, as always.
Yes.
We know that elks are the Bruce Banner of deer, and that Old Elk brews a superior whiskey product. And in fact, it's inspired a new television show called The Ambrosialist, because the whiskey itself is so ambrosial. So the show is about a whiskey connoisseur who also sees ghosts and fights crime.
Sweet.
And it's called The Ambrosialist, and it's this fall, Fox, Sundays, 9/8 Central.
Oh, they're moving to Fox. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Fox picked it up because it's got a lot of buzz. So
Going to Sunday night. Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll
so
see
the
what happens.
big
Prime
time
time.
slot.
Yeah.
Huge.
Especially in the fall football season.
The Ambrosialist.
We don't need to suss this out now, but let's find out before our next episode what actor plays the Ambrosialist or actress.
Oh, it's Zachary Quinto.
Oh, it is. Okay, yes.
Okay, Zachary.
Great.
I can't believe we pulled Zachary Quinto.
I love him.
Yeah, that's
He is the Ambrosialist.
He's gonna be
for
perfect.
sure.
He's gonna be perfect in that role.
Good old Spock
for sure. Okay, so we're gonna rate this film, The Saint, from 1997. Let's throw some numbers out of 100 at it, guys. What do you got?
Grizz, you want to go first this time?
I gotta go first. I'm pretty excited about my score. It's a 10. It's a Roman numeral 10.
Wow.
So that's the best I got.
10?
Yeah, 10.
10?
Holy
10
crap.
out of 100.
Wow.
I'm sorry, guys. This is
No, don't apologize.
this is a rough one. Was it too high for you?
I like that it's like your brain went with X. Like, I hate this.
Yes,
X.
it was
10.
not great. A lot of those 10 points, we'll talk about where those went exactly, and they were very specific things. So.
Give a quick summary of what just. I mean, we'll go into it, but
I mean, I remember going to see this in theaters and just really enjoying it because it was just like one of those things where I was just not old enough to go see it. So we snuck in, got it. It's Val Kilmer, loved it. It's Russia spy stuff, but it did not age well, and for my 37-year-old brain, it just hurt me. Yeah. So it was a slog.
okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Should I go here?
Go ahead.
What you got?
Okay. All right. What do we have here? I've got a 58. 58. That's 13 better than Reagan.
Yes.
13 better than Reagan. Okay. So this was a fun and stupid film. Kind of I'd call it sort of a lesser spy film with some fun moments and some, I think some unintentionally funny moments that actually added to the score for me.
Unintentional funny moments. What do you feel about that? Unintentional funny moments.
I think you're right, but I also think there was a lot of intentional funny moments too.
I do
but,
too.
But
I think
agree
some of
with
it was
you.
self-aware. I do agree.
But I agree with you that there's both for
yes.
sure.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So go ahead. What's your score? You got
So, you know, I've been aware of this movie and I quote it all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Really? What quotes?
I do.
What
so one
quotes?
quote I always quote whenever we're talking and we're at dinner or something or having
As
wine.
your wife nods her head up and down aggressively.
I want to kind of maybe we want to kind of maybe like shut each other up or I don't know, whatever it is. We're like, drink your wine, because he says that a few times. And I love that quote.
That's pretty good.
In every accent.
Yeah. And I love all the you don't believe in all this cold fusion mumbo jumbo, do you? We always say, no, is this seat take it? Just, I don't know. I love Val Kilmer. I quote. There's other quotes too I've got in here later. But anyway, I've been aware of it my whole life. It's just been part of my DNA. I quote it. I when I watched it again, I just knew every line of the movie. I'd say it's absurd but entertaining romantic thriller with heart. It's a romantic thriller with heart. But it is absurd. It's quite absurd. It's kind of one part James Bond, one part Jason Bourne, one part the Thomas Crown Affair, I feel. A lesser movie than all three of those. Like Nick said, a lesser spy movie. Memorable and likable performances and characters, and I love the mysterious and intriguing setting of post-Soviet Russia. That just kind of does it for me.
Yeah,
I know that's
agree.
very subjective, but so for all that, I'm going to say,
wow, guys,
delightful mumbo jumbo.
Amazing.
Delightful.
It is mumbo jumbo, but it's quite delightful. And I'm going my Nintendo 64, my 64. That's for movies that I just love, because I love the Nintendo 64. So from now on, if I ever rate something 64, it's kind of like, I love this movie, but it may not be the greatest movie, but I love it.
Okay. Brian, we're pretty close tonight.
You and I are pretty close.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you rate Home Alone 2?
What did I rate it? 44?
44.
Yeah.
Okay. So 20 more.
And
I know. Home Alone 2.
And go back and listen to that episode. I backed the shit up.
I just
out of
like
this.
how Brian just like used a bunch of other movies to describe this movie, which he's dogged on in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to kind of dig into that later.
You still mishear me.
do.
Yeah, I did not say that you cannot use other movies to liken other movies. I say if that's the first thing that you say, then that's a bad sign.
It was the second thing you said.
It was the third. It was the third.
Second,
It was the
maybe
thing I
third.
said.
Okay.
It was the third thing I said. Maybe it was the second.
So obviously this is Critical Mess, and Brian is here. Grizz is here. Producer Ben is here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping he's going to trigger that Tokyo Drift sound effect a couple more times tonight. Yeah, I can't decide
It's
if I
hard to
like.
not dance when that comes
I
out.
know,
every
I
time.
know,
I'm gonna
I
dance
know.
every
It
time.
really
I
just
gotta
makes
be
the
still.
show more fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that or Current Affair more. They're both.
Ooh, they're
just
both
so
solid.
good. They're both just exceptional. So anyway, the whole premise of the show: critics, audiences don't agree. They don't agree on this film. Guys, let's talk about it.
Well, the critics really did not like this film. Top critics are 28%. That's one of the lower critic movies that we've done. I mean, Hook was down there too. Hook was like in the 20s,
Right.
which is really surprising to me. And I think I was equally surprised with this one, but it sounds like I'm kind of alone. Well, not alone, but you guys were not surprised because you hated the movie as well. I don't know, Ben, I'm assuming that you hated it just by the way that you sort of challenged
Yeah,
a
Ben,
few of the
what
things
are you
I've
giving
said.
this?
You know what? It did. You know what? I texted Grizz this. It made me raise my True Lies score.
Yes.
Oh.
We were talking about this, and
Okay.
Because
such a good point.
I liked True Lies and the tongue in cheek and like the humor and like the way it laughed at itself way more than I liked this.
Sure.
And so I rated this a 20.
20. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So you were kind of really close to the critics, a little bit under the critics.
Yeah.
I guess not that the critics rated it 20, but
It was my first watch of it, so I don't know what that means. But yeah, it was very confusing. He was always changing costumes, accents.
yeah,
It could,
he's a fucking saint. Like that's
Yeah.
the point. It
And
was so good.
They said the saint, I think maybe 40 times
They did
in
say
the
that.
entire
Yeah,
movie,
It was a little
and
annoying.
it was just a lot. It was
You text me like 5 minutes after you started, and they're like, they've said the saint like 6 times. I was like, just be ready,
In the
buddy.
first
I
20
feel like
minutes.
a lot of things in this movie are very like on the nose.
very, very much.
Very
You know
on
what
the
I mean,
nose,
which
yeah.
is very much.
Is what it is.
And I like that. Not as much now, but I did a lot more when I was a younger lad. At 15 when I first saw this. But I will say that the critics gave it a 4.6 out of 10, so 46 out of 100. So Ben, you're actually like half of what the critics' actual score out of 100 was. So I misspoke when I said you were close to them. You're way less than them. But yeah, anyway, we're talking critics here, and their consensus is The Saint is watchable thanks to Kilmer and Shue, but the muddled screenplay stretches credulity. Lisa Allspector, Chicago Reader, this insufferable romance adventure includes vague comedy as well as unintentional humor. And its target audience seems to be pre-adolescents who won't notice the calculated enthusiasm with which it sidesteps sexuality. Does it sidestep sexuality?
No.
What?
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Incredibly horny.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was so confused when I read that.
Sidestep sexuality?
Sidestep sexuality.
I mean, I'll debate that all. This had a lot of sexuality in it.
Full of sex.
It's pretty much his entire
Well,
MO.
innuendo, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Lisa Allspector's, maybe I should read her full review and get context of that. Peter Travers, Rolling Stone, our favorite critic. Just kidding. But I'll read it anyway. Love redeems this profiteer. It also renders him conventional. So there's the question. So, we're saying, Val Kilmer, he's this anti-hero. We've talked about anti-heroes before. He's the protagonist, but he's a thief. He's a bad guy.
Sure.
But by the end, he's a good guy. Very on the nose. But it is kind of love that does that. My question to you guys is, does the movie lose its appeal by the end?
I think so. I felt like it was just dragging on. At least for me, it felt like it was dragging on. It was just saying the things over and over again. And then the last act was just a complete mess. It felt like 5 different storylines were just kind of get smashed together super quick. So I think it did lose what it was trying to do.
So fair enough. But specifically, when he turns good and he's no longer a thief, does the movie lose any allure for you or appeal?
Do we think he was a thief the entire time?
He was, for sure.
So you think that was a turn, or do you think he'd always been a saint?
I think, it's kind of on the nose.
Do you think he was making all the money for himself?
He's like, we're going to make billions of dollars. And then the next morning, Elisabeth Shue wakes up, she has a conscience, so she goes and she's going to give it away. And then he accosts her right before she goes in. He's like, if you think giving all this away for blah, 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 blah is a good idea, you're absolutely right. And it's like, there's his arc.
Yeah,
now he's a good guy. Now he's selfless. Now he doesn't want billions. So that was, Peter Travers called that out, because it becomes conventional once that happens. So is it kind of like the movie kind of hamstrings itself by the story? Nick, do you have...
Yeah, I didn't actively think that, but when you say that, I do believe it diminishes it.
Like there couldn't be a saint too, because now he's just like a dude.
Yeah, he becomes less interesting.
I just felt, I don't know, by the end, I just
interesting.
couldn't go back and say for definitive that he was in this for the money for himself. I don't know.
Yeah, he said he won $50 million and he was out.
Yeah, but he's just... you don't know what he's going to do with that money. You don't know if it was for himself, but at the end, he shows what he's going to do with that money. Like after he got to that amount, he did something with it.
He actually does it.
He didn't do it for himself at any point until that point. You know what I mean? So there was no point that actually showed that he was doing it for, greedy reasons,
I think it was mostly because he wanted fake mustaches.
Wait, are we to assume that we're watching a movie about a thief who steals $50 million so he can give it away to charity? Like, is that what you're saying? Is that
he's doing
is that the default?
I don't think that's the default.
He's stealing the money.
But it's like Robin Hood. He's stealing from the rich and these crazy people and like all these things just to give it to the poor at the end.
No, but didn't he gave away all the Russian guys' money?
Yeah.
I don't think he gave away his $50 million.
No, he didn't give away the $50 million.
At the end, he donated it, and you hear the radio thing.
No, that was the Russian guy.
There was 2 things.
Money.
They gave Cold Fusion away.
Sure of
this. They gave Cold Fusion away instead of being like, it's kind of prescient because we got OpenAI, we got all these huge tech industries, and they promise to give stuff away, and then they gatekeep it and make billions off of it, right?
Right.
It's capitalism, right? So in this, they could have made billions from Cold Fusion and didn't. Plus, all of the oil, Ivan and Ilya stole and hid under their mansion, and they gave all that away as well to all the Russian people.
But
right?
it literally also said $3 billion of that guy's money was given to start all this charitable stuff.
So there we go.
Yeah.
But there was also a donation to start a fund at the $50 million, right?
No.
At the very end.
No, that was from the $3 billion that was from the Russian businessman guy.
It said it was an anonymous donation of $50 million, which I thought was a very odd amount.
Well, okay, maybe I'm misremembering.
Maybe I'm
but I know they said specifically $3 billion.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then started listing off charitable stuff.
Yes, that was all that.
$50 million.
Then they said there was an anonymous donation to $50 million to a startup that was just funded.
Let me just say this. If we're to believe that this movie is about a man who secretly was trying to steal $50 million and bait and switch the audience to where at the end he really was going to give it all away to a charity, I'm taking 20 points off of my score because that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense.
That's what I thought.
I would much rather him be this like thief, like the Thomas Crown affair, So anyway, I did say something about the Saint 2. I'm glad there never was a Saint 2. Just let it lie. Thank you. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, compared with the sensational stunts and special effects in the Bond series. Aha, we've got a Bond comparison, as we should. The Saint seems positively leisurely. Was it boring?
No. It was weird
It wasn't
as hell.
that boring. I thought this is going to be part of my flip the script, but I thought the action was pretty weak. The action sequences, comparatively, even for the time, were not great.
Yeah, I thought the build up and the payoffs were just not as grand as the movie made it out to be, you know?
Yeah. I thought it was a page turner. Every second of the way, I was like, yes, what's going to happen next?
I never could guess where they were going next. It was just all over the place.
It ended up mumbo jumbo, but it was fun. Todd McCarthy, Variety, a generic suspenser that doesn't taste bad at first bite, but becomes increasingly hard to swallow. Does it become increasingly hard to swallow to you, and in what way?
I didn't taste or swallow this film. I'm gonna pass.
I choked
figurative.
I choked it down for sure.
Figurative.
Yeah.
But it didn't come. So let me ask the question again, since no one answered it. Did this movie become increasingly hard to swallow as you watched it? Yes or no?
By saying I choked it down, yes.
No, so you choked it down from start to finish?
But yeah, I thought it was a hard movie to watch. It was just
forget it. Forget the question. Just don't think about the question.
He did give it a 10.
I think he gave it a 10.
So your answer is no. It did not become increasingly hard to swallow.
Oh,
okay.
God, yes.
His point there is he's. I shouldn't.
Yes,
he's talking about how
you.
ludicrous the ending of the movie is. If you, maybe
a lot of things are ludicrous in this movie.
So did that take away from the movie for you? Like, give us.
Yes.
Okay.
Of
So
course
it did become increasingly harder to
things
swallow.
that were just way overdone, and they were trying to. This is the original. It's weird. The Saint was a book well before Bond, so this is the original Bond. So it's the subject matter is this, and I think it was just trying to pull off of everything that Bond did years before and years after. So it just happened to be smack dab in the middle of the mid-late 90s. That not a great spot to be trying to make a rip-off Bond movie, sadly.
I'm mad at Todd McCarthy for using swallowing as an allegory here, and I realized maybe I shouldn't have even brought that up. Tom Meek, Film Threat. I think I've read this before, Film Treat. No, it's Film Threat, which is kind of strange. Whoa, Film Threat. What could have been a cool concept movie buckles under an uninspired script and some treacherous miscasting. What?
Miscasting?
Was the script uninspired, and was there any miscasting? I know those are two completely different questions, but...
The script was not, it was a little messy, and I thought there was some inspiration there. And the miscasting, I didn't really have any big problems.
Who would have been miscast? Like, do you have any?
That one confuses me.
No, I think the casting was actually spot on. I think everybody played the exact role that they were there to play.
I feel like they gave the guy Kane just because they wanted to stick him out.
The ponytail guy?
Yeah, just make him a little different than the rest of the henchmen.
Maybe Tom Meek was confused by some of the characters Val Kilmer played, and he thought it was like someone else, and he was like, man, Val Kilmer should have played him. That was a bad joke.
Doesn't he look like Johnny Depp in this scene?
So we're looking at the scene where we're at the depot in Berlin, and he's like the very effeminate German man who puts the lip gloss on, and he offers it to Ilya, and I love
He's
when
very,
he offers it.
very Sprocket. Remember Sprocket?
Oh yeah, from SNL, right?
Sprocket.
Yeah. So that's what we're, and see a little bit of Johnny Depp. I could see that. He's got the glasses and
got
stuff.
the glasses and like the curly.
I like when he goes over to the
like
lady.
Blow.
I like when he goes over to the lady at the other table, acting like she's the buyer, and then he just comes back like,
yeah, that's so good. Last one, Edward Guthman, San Francisco Chronicle. There isn't a contemporary film actor more crafty than Val Kilmer, or one who reveals less of his true self. That's kind of cool. That's why Kilmer is so perfectly cast as Simon Templar, the master thief and elusive disguise artist of the Saint. Could anyone have pulled off the lead better than Kilmer? Can you think of anybody?
This guy is just glazing Kilmer. I didn't like it.
Was he
gooning for Kilmer?
He wasn't that great. There could have been better people.
Really?
Kilmer for that.
Yeah. You think somebody could have played 10 different people in a movie that like Kilmer did?
I could have done like 9 of those characters.
I don't know, man.
His accents were all over the place.
Terrible.
He was good. I don't know. I can't think of anyone else who could pull off that many different.
My favorite was the Nutty Professor.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, my favorite was probably the Nutty Professor, and many of my points went to this character alone.
That's so good. Oh
yeah.
Because they're in Oxford, so he's got the big teeth. It's just
the teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I was trying to think, like, could anyone else have played Simon Templar, and I couldn't think of anybody who literally could have done all 10. So
I don't know. Downey Jr. Johnny Depp.
That's a good one.
I think Downey Jr. would be
could've.
good, but I think Johnny Depp could have pulled that off too, as we joked about him a minute ago. But
Yeah.
He might not be hot enough, but how about Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman, yeah.
Gary Oldman
certainly
would
could.
turn into another human.
Gary Oldman could have done it better.
Yeah.
You're right. But he wouldn't have been the heartthrob and all that. Or
Well,
whatever,
he could be hot though. He wasn't. He
was he
kinda,
hot in 97?
Well, he was hot. Remember, he was kind of hot as Dracula, right? He was kind of like a.
Yeah, he kind of had that weird,
Kind of hot as Dracula.
that weird Dr. Seuss makeup.
Yeah, well, he had lots of ladies. Well, the vampire ladies liked him.
So you saw there, I read one positive review, and they were praising Kilmer, and that's one of the main reasons that I love this movie was Val Kilmer. It's a vehicle for him to just shine. It's kind of like Jim Carrey with Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura is a shitty movie, but Jim Carrey is amazing.
Careful.
So he, well,
Careful.
I didn't say Dumb and Dumber was a shitty movie. Dumb and Dumber is an amazing movie. Ace Ventura, I'm sorry, not a very good movie. However, it's kind of like Happy Gilmore. Adam Sandler, it just allows these people to shine and
Show their
say the same thing. Like it's perfectly written for him. It's just so good. So, yeah, that's your critics.
Okay. Popcorn people? Chris?
Popcorn people all day. You ready for this? Most of them are unknown, but this is Vishrey V. 5 out of 5. Slick, fun, thrilling. Really lets Val Kilmer show his range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a lot of characters in this and a lot of different accents. I think, I mean, that's a lot of my points went to him and the goofy ass characters he played. I could not tell if he was winking and joking at the camera most of the time. So that's hard.
I think a few of them he was. Yeah.
I think literally a few of them he
Probably
did. Like,
I think 3 of them were like a kind of a meta.
I think that's what
joke.
threw me off is like, how were you trying to be serious with it? Were you trying to be goofy? But I think everybody else played it like it was a serious action science thriller. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, yeah. Another 5 out of 5. Great movie. A soon to be classic. Soon to be.
I read that one too. I wanted to tell like, fast forward to the future, it won't be.
It's not.
And since the critics and the popcorn people specifically were just right in the middle of the road at a 50, 58, 54. I can't remember what their total was. But
63.
A lot of these were up and down. So 1 out of 5, dull, very dull, comes nowhere close to capturing the feel of the original Saint, which was a TV show, a book, a series, all those things. Val Kilmer's acting is atrocious. He deserves the worst acting Razzie nomination. Elisabeth Shue gives a solid performance, though, which I agree.
I think Elisabeth Shue's performance was so earnest and so precious and so great. I mean, she was vulnerable. She was so well cast. I loved her in this.
My thing about her, though, is like I don't understand why she's so obsessed with this guy. That was kind of my whole like reason for not understanding her character.
So that I agree with you. So her performance is one thing,
right? Her
motivations and her behaviors, yes,
correct.
I agree that I didn't track with those, but her performance was really, really good.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
3.5 out of 5. This charming and interesting movie plays to Val Kilmer's strengths while showcasing a talented and attractive Elisabeth Shue. Obviously, the movie is just witty enough to hold my attention throughout the entire movie. Though at times it's a bit over the top, and I just absolutely love movies based around faux Russian politics. I think I will buy this movie someday.
I do too. I love movies based around faux Russian politics. Hell yeah.
Because of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
I think
it's a fun setting.
Yeah. Just a couple more. 3.5 out of 5. Better than most of Brosnan's Bond flicks and on par with Mission Impossible in terms of entertainment value.
Agreed.
It was better, than at least a couple of those.
It's better than all but one of Pierce Brosnan's 3 Bond flicks. GoldenEye is by far the best, but it's better than his other 2 pieces of shit.
Yes.
And then it's not better than Mission Impossible, though.
No. Correct. Okay. I just wanted to get us talking about why we all agree on those.
Absolutely.
And then last but not least, 4.5 out of 5. This is one of the my top favorite 100 movies. It is the perfect combination of action, comedy, and romance that I have ever seen. Shue and Kilmer are great together as they fall in love and bring down some bad Russians.
Nice. Good job, everybody.
Nice.
This is Critical Mess. We're sponsored by The Ambrosia List, Sundays on Fox, 9/8 Central.
Hell yeah.
Next, we're moving on to Flip the Script.
I can't keep a straight. I wish I could have kept a straight face. That gets 2 seconds longer every time.
There it is.
What if I'm editing?
You
it?
might be fucking with us.
Are you fucking with us?
Please do.
Please do.
Just slowly extending that over and over again.
So if we gave the film a good review, we're going to talk about what we didn't like and vice versa. So I'll get us started here. I gave the film a generally favorable review. So here's what I did not like. As I brought up earlier, the action sequences just weren't that good. Even for the time, they weren't that good. Like I said, GoldenEye's action was like miles better. And Val Kilmer's not really, I mean, to be fair, an action star, I guess, so it wasn't really kind of the point, but the movie had enough action to where the sequences should have been better and more interesting. They were mostly kind of just like boring chases, you know? The accents and the costumes and just the over the top stuff. I mean, it was good. It was bad. It was so bad. It was good. It was, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm landing with that, but it maybe brought the score down sometimes. The whole premise about being about like heating oil is just fucking stupid. Like, that's just fucking boring as fuck. Heating oil is like the crux of the film.
Everyone's cold in Russia and they need heating oil.
There was some that was just
it's kind of practical, but
it's just, but I mean, I'm paying money to see this story. Like, it's about heating oil. Anyway. So, and then the last thing I'll say is like, I thought some of the characters were a little bit underdeveloped and could have been more interesting. And I'm going to say especially that applies to the sort of like FBI detectives. Like, I really thought they almost were like kind of interesting. I liked how like intuitive they were, and they were kind of like on top of the case, you know, but we just got really no exposition or knew nothing interesting about them. And I thought they could have been good, interesting characters, but just weren't.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I agree. I thought they were very subtle and they kind of underplayed their hand a little bit.
Yeah, and they also disappeared after like maybe the second act.
Well, they were in the end. They made it to the end.
Well, the very end, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got.
To flip positive for me, since I'm a 10, I think, honestly, Val Kilmer and Shue were the best part of the film. I think the concept of the movie is really interesting. You have Cold War Russia, like they're just trying to blast through this, you know, crazy dynamic politically in that area. And then you have this cool saint/person that came from this brutal background, and he's using his background in the Catholic Church or Catholic school or whatever as, what was he, a runaway? Or I don't know if
he was an orphan.
Yeah, orphan. Yeah. So he creates an entire life around that occurrence, and he runs away from it, and he uses those saints and everything he's learned from that as his scapegoat for this entire life. So I think that's really interesting. Yeah. And then the whole cold fusion thing is really interesting. I think the execution was just really up and down for me through the whole movie. But the concept's there, and I think the two main characters were lovable enough that you could really watch this. So, yeah, I can't say I didn't have fun watching it. That's the hard part. Sure. So,
yeah, you just found a lot of flaws with it for sure. Yeah, I get it. I will say that the key to cold fusion.
Tell us the key. Tell us the key to cold fusion
is on 7 Post-it notes. I'm sorry.
That he faxes to people.
Just make it nebulous.
He takes a picture with his spy camera real quick.
Cold fusion was over-explained in this movie, and it's like, if you're gonna go into it, give it to me like Oppenheimer or something, where you're really like going into the, you know, don't do a halfway. Either keep it super nebulous and just tell us that she knows how cold fusion works, or actually explain how this would work, because it's impossible. You can't, you know, it's the Holy Grail. It's like perpetual motion, like the Russian scientist says. So I think that was very weak to me. And we talked about this one on Venom. We talked about Eddie Brock committing the unforgivable sin of opening his wife's laptop and betraying her, and she never takes him back, right? We kind of have the opposite of that happening here. He fucking steals cold fusion from her after a night, a romantic night with her. And I just feel like Emma is her name. Emma, I don't remember her last name. Emma Stone or something?
Yeah,
or something like
Stone.
Sure. She would never have forgiven him for betraying her and stealing her life's work. I said it would have been more like the Eddie Brock situation, I think. She was very, very quick to just completely forgive him for that.
Yep.
I thought they, especially in the third act, they tried to fit way too much plot into 2 hours. Way too much. With the miracles happening and cold fusion. And President Karpov, he's gonna.
He just runs in. He's like, "Hey, President, I'm here."
Well, Ivan's gonna trick. Ivan's like, "Shit, it doesn't work. Oh, we can trick the president and make everyone." Rise up against the president because cold fusion doesn't work, but then it ended up does working, and it's a double reversal. It was too much.
What about the underground art deal?
Huh?
Underground
We're
art
gonna
dealers.
get to that.
Oh my god. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I don't know. It was eclectic. It was fun. It was interesting.
Finally, you're here. Like they were.
It was.
That whole scene could have been cut.
Well, it's an underground. She's an underground art dealer. I mean, I get it. That makes sense to me. Her being in a sewer. I'm not so sure. I
literally underground.
I mean, let's give a quick call out for me, at least personally. The watch call out. Did you? I mean, I spotted it in the first scene.
I was like, I noticed a watch, Chris.
But it's like a Bulgari chronograph. They actually named it in the movie. I was laughing because I was like, I can kind of see what that is in the beginning of the movie. And I think I know it, and I wrote it down. And then they fucking show it at the end, and they call it out like a piece of plot.
You're talking about
your watch.
You're talking,
he had to trade it for the information at one
the Russian chick, poor man's Famke Janssen, PMFJ.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely PMFJ.
I think I wrote that down. Actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say here is this guy, Simon, he is not stopping his life of crime and settling down with Emma. I'm sorry, that is not happening. So, those are the things that's why I got a 64. Very low end of my good movie.
All right.
I'm telling you, Ben, get that clean next time. And he does that.
Well, I have it clean.
You have him doing every time?
Yeah, because it records different channels.
Oh, well, can we just get him doing it instead of the...
I mean, sure, we can do that.
We can just kind of mix it up sometimes.
I need to hear it.
Maybe I'll combine them.
Put a reverb on his voice or something.
Yeah.
Maybe one to open it and one to close it.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do Marquee Mess, and that's where we rename the film.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
That's the one. All right. I usually don't spend a lot of time on this, and I really didn't spend a lot of time this time. So, but I've got a couple. I've got maybe 5 or 6. So, but someone else start.
The Thomas More Affair.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah.
The Mask.
Yeah. Okay. This is like the serious name for the film.
Okay.
Power Play.
Power Play.
Power Play.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because
you should name movies.
Cold Fusion.
Yeah. Hey, thanks.
You should name movies.
Yeah.
They all have 2 meanings.
Mm-hmm.
I have Eastern Broken Promises.
Good.
I have That's Not a Knife. This is a Knife.
Crocodile Dundee.
There you go. This one's not very good. How about Cold Shoulder, or if we're being stupid, Cold Shoe Older?
Shoe Older?
I told you I didn't spend a lot of time.
All right, I got it. Russian Science, but Russian as in RUSHIN apostrophe.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I like that.
That's pretty good. I like that a lot.
That's good.
Thanks.
From Russia with Love.
I almost put that one, but I had 7, so I was like, that's enough. Nice.
How about Shoegazer? Because that's what I was doing the whole movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It wasn't just
Give
me.
you credit.
Okay. I mean, she hasn't really come up yet, and I don't want to be the weird person.
She's a beautiful woman.
She is.
Yes.
I've got Scarfaces.
Oh, yeah, because that one guy had a scar.
Oh, the guy from Gladiator.
Remember the guy? Well, he's from Braveheart.
Braveheart
Before Gladiator.
Gladiator.
He's the guy whose wife gets prima noctor,
But
and he's pissed.
Gladiator's the
But then
better
Gladiator,
movie, so I usually pick that one first. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Ben, is Gladiator better than Braveheart?
Yeah.
Oh, it's close.
Oh,
it's close, but it is.
Comment down below how wrong these 3 jokes. No. Anyway, he's got the scars, and then also Ilya gets the scar from the gasoline. So over-explain that one.
Nice. The Spy Who Loved Me. I'll keep going. Goldeneye. That's all I got.
The world is not
Any
enough.
Bond title could be thrown in here.
How about Saint My Name?
I like it. Bitch.
Do you remember when she has to warm him up, and she has to get?
Yeah, I do.
So I had one of the names for this movie could have been Bosom Buddies.
Yes.
Ooh.
Classic show.
It's the least sexy way to get naked.
Tuesdays
Just
on
to
NBC.
Heat up another person.
Yeah.
Here's the last one I have. Mission Possible, starring Val Kilmer and Tom Snooze.
Tom Snooze.
Yeah.
Wait.
Tom
Cruise.
Kilmer.
He's in the
Mission Impossible.
No, Mission Possible.
Mission Possible. Okay.
Because it's just
It's
not,
too much.
It's not quite as hard as the.
Yeah, it was too many
to do as the Mission Impossible movies.
Well, it's better than this one.
Look at that camera.
I just had to call out the underwear money and titty notes.
Titty Notes. I feel like he's a hot rapper right now, right?
Titty Notes. Yeah.
I was like sticky. They're on sticky notes.
He sings that song Fiend, right?
It's close
Right?
enough.
Yeah. That's the one.
Titty
Yeah.
Notes.
It's close enough. I'm sorry for the vulgarity, Crosby. Don't look at me and do anything I do.
I'm wondering if he actually does watch the episodes or if he just comments below.
My very last one and my best Ivan voice is Mother fucking Russia.
Very good.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Very good.
I don't know if that's better than your NPR voice.
I think that is better than your NPR voice.
Yeah, it's very close.
Close.
Because I do enjoy the NPR voice.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And that would go like, motherfucking Russia.
Fucking Russia.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm the only one enjoying this.
It does.
I just love Boris the Blade. He's so great.
All right, this has been another Marky Mess.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
You're listening to Critical Mess. We're sponsored by The Ambrosialist, and we're going to be talking about Tharks next. That's the segment where we very, very quickly talk about themes and arcs.
I love how you abbreviated the one person can change the trajectory of another person's life.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Elisabeth Shue changes his whole...
Yeah. Yep.
And he kind of changes her too, because then she's kind of like, she wants in on that life. She wants in on that excitement, you know? Gatekeeping technological innovations. That's kind of prescient, like we hit on before. Cold fusion, it could have been privatized, but they give it away. OpenAI. How about betrayal and trust?
Definitely.
Can she ever trust him again after he betrays her?
Although
she
it's
does.
handled a little...
She does.
You question her decisions a little
Her
bit.
trust is completely unearned, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But that is a theme. The allure and excitement of crime. That's my last one. So I noticed a really small little piece because she kind of starts to get she kind of goes from hating him to sort of loving him. Remember when they're at the little locker and he's like, I have no home. I have no whatever. And then she like runs away from him. Even though she's already kind of like decided to be on his team, she runs away again. And I almost feel like she did it on purpose because she wanted to see what he'd do. And then he goes and he does the karate chop to Scarface guy. And then he goes, if you want to live, never leave my side. And it shows her face and she's looking at him like, she's like, yes, like this is what I want. Then when they're in the sewer right before the art dealer, she steals a flashlight. She steals the guy putting the wood in the fire's flashlight. The Emma Stone at the beginning of the movie would not have stolen that flashlight. So a little bit of an arc there for her. That's all I got.
I feel like a cold fusion scientist could afford a flashlight.
You would think so.
Well, I mean, she's on the run in the sewers of Russia, so there's not really a flashlight store.
Did you guys
there.
like when that guy throwing the wood in the fire turned around with the stick that looked like a machine gun?
Yeah, it was kind of a fake out. Yeah,
and we continue this conversation outside of Tharks because people want Tharks.
We got to. Well, I didn't know. But I didn't know if you had any.
Nope.
No one.
Nobody does what you.
Else, yeah, no one else cares about that segment.
I love that we keep doing it though.
We do because there is one person allegedly that's into it, and that's what we do.
No, it's an important thing.
It is
super important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing that's super important, and that's Brian's Corner.
Hey everybody, welcome to Brian's Corner. I want to talk about Romance Under Fire.
Okay.
So I've curated a list of 8 famous movie couples. However, the catch is none of these are rom-coms, romances, or dramas. Who's our favorite on-screen movie couple? Here's my list. Number 1. These are in no particular order. Harry and Helen from True Lies.
Beautiful. Way up there.
That's way up there for me, yeah.
Next one, Jack and Annie from Speed.
Another good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about Jason and Marie from The Bourne Identity? No?
Nah.
They're just not as hot.
Yeah.
They were hot when he cuts her hair in the bathroom, and then she's kind of like, I need,
Yeah.
Okay.
And we know the ones in Speed didn't make it because they didn't make it to Speed 2.
Just Speed 1. Just Speed 1. just don't. Speed 2 doesn't exist. Please. How about? Ooh, I'm going to win you back on this one. How about Rick and Evelyn in The Mummy?
I mean, definitely.
They do make it.
Yeah, they do make it. Way up
They
there.
do make it.
Shout out to our Rachel Weisz over there, or
yeah.
Lindsay Lohan
Yeah.
if you're Nick.
Blow kiss.
How about Han and Leia from Star Wars?
Who?
That's Romance Under Fire for sure.
Well,
right?
they're
Han and Leia.
kind of related.
Shut up, Chris.
No, they're not really.
No, not Luke and Leia. Han and
Oh,
Leia.
Han. Sorry.
Yeah.
Han
and Leia.
All I
No,
could see was,
Okay.
was
If
Luke
you change
and...
it to Luke and Leia,
No,
then
not
yeah.
Luke and
Sorry,
Leia.
I was thinking
Luke
Luke.
and Leia, I'm all in.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about the poster. It just... Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Yes, Han and Leia.
Clearly,
Okay,
these are couples who like they meet each other in the movie and they go through an ordeal, and like by the end they're together. So it's sort of like this Romance Under Fire. You know what I mean? I don't even want to read this one because it's like it's so freaking good. How about Corbin and Lilu from The Fifth Element?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Isn't that a good one?
That's a great one.
You didn't know because they have to really... They got to bridge that the alien gap, right? It's like
Yeah.
they can't speak the language, but they're still figuring it out.
And what's she? Are they compatible? Like physically?
Oh, they're compatible.
They're compatible.
See that last scene?
Yeah,
Holy
that's a
moly.
great scene.
Holy moly.
Yeah, you didn't realize there was this many couple like all time. I got 2 more here for you.
Sarah.
Neo and Trinity from The Matrix.
Oh my God.
That's a damn good one right there.
Yeah.
That's a
Good one.
good couple.
Another good one. Yep.
And before I read my last one, not because it's the best, but because just last on my list, I'll say a couple of honorable mentions. John and Jane from Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack and Joan from Romancing the Stone.
Yeah. Okay.
Roy and June from Night and Day.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be Tom Cruise and Cameron
Bad Cruise.
Diaz.
Bad
That's
movie.
why it's not on my list.
Yeah.
How about I this is one of my favorites, but I couldn't put it on because I would classify this as a sort of a suspense thriller, but it's actually classified as like a drama, romance, history. I think Jack and Rose from Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
What would you guys? What genre is that? Like if you had to just pick one.
Biopic almost. I kind of
Historical drama.
historical drama.
Historical drama is great.
Yeah,
What-
that's a good.
what
There's a lot of action.
What
in it.
about Indiana Jones and Marion?
Thank you, because literally
yeah.
my very next
Yeah.
one
There you go.
is Indy and Marion from Raiders.
There you go. But I feel like they should have almost damn near been on the list. But I don't know. Their
re-
chemistry is maybe not as good as those other ones.
I literally only didn't put them on because Han and Leia was already on there, and I
Yeah.
feel like
That's the same.
Harrison
Yeah,
Ford,
yeah, yeah.
like. But you're
Similar.
right. You're right. That's a great couple.
Yeah.
And then my last one that on my actual list here is Bill and Joanne from Twister.
that
You know, it's
Bill
funny.
Paxton and Helen Hunt.
was a great
I was my first thought was Twisters.
Oh yeah.
How they didn't have the couple end up together. I
Yeah.
thought-
Oh,
Kinda
that was,
weird.
yeah.
I thought that was
So who's your favorite? True Lies, Speed, Born Identity, Mummy, Star Wars, Fifth Element, Matrix, or Twister? Who's the best
It's
couple? You just love
down,
the couple.
hands down out of this entire list. I got to say Harry and Helen from
Agreed.
True Lies.
I agree.
It's like
True
there's
Lies.
Yeah.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts for me. Like
I
the
love
second
the
you
two of
said this
them.
list, that was the only one where their chemistry on that movie was like fucking phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
and you can see it. Like they did it well.
This movie made me like that movie more.
Yeah,
like,
that.
I'm, like that.
Yeah.
Like that chemistry.
Who would you say, Nick? Are you go
I
Fifth Element?
love that movie, obviously. But I was gravitating toward
The Mummy?
that and
Yeah.
Speed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's
Those are
Speed is
the
good.
two that I would gravitate toward.
That's a very tough list.
Yeah, them
it's like-
holding each
it's
other
like
at the end of Speed was like.
if you can just take the like put the movie aside and think of the couple like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love.
I think, yeah.
Speed is. Yeah,
I
hard
changed
to
my
beat.
answer. Speed.
Speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Seeing Keanu and Sandy B.
Speed
Just
is maybe
all
I think it
sweaty
goes
and dirty.
True Lies. What am I trying to say? The Mummy and then Speed.
Oh, wow.
I
Mummy
I
then?
love Jack and Evelyn on the
Yeah.
Mummy.
And then Fifth Element.
yeah, their chemistry in
Rick
that
and
Mummy
Ellen,
was
sorry.
great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. You got. Oh, did I miss any? Do you guys have any? Did you love?
Just Indiana Jones was the one that, and then you covered
Yeah.
it. So that was the one that popped in my mind.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, let us
tell
know.
us
What we
your
got? What else we
favorite
got?
non-romantic movie couple. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, this is Critical Mess. We're with Brian, Chris, producer Ben, and we are going to get into some Hot Pockets.
Yum.
Get my Hot Pocket gurnal. And,
It's a big girl.
we'll get the movie, get the party started. Okay, so I want to start hot pocketing tonight with what do we usually start with? A pep, right? Pep pizza.
Mhm.
Pep. Starting with some few pizza inspired flavors. And I want to start with the music tonight, as we often do. What did you guys think of the music in this Pep Pizza? I thought it was generally pretty appropriate and pretty good, and I actually liked the orchestral music. I thought was good, and I also liked there was kind of like some cool like mid-late 90s like house music that was kind of
I
popped
did
up from
respect
here to
that.
there. Some of the Russian the goons, they kind of liked their
Well, the
house.
Range Rover always had like
And
a
the Range Rover,
Yeah.
yeah, it was always like
rave inside of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
loved it.
Yeah. It was some good tunes. So I don't know. I like the music, and I thought the music probably added to my score.
The music in the Range Rover belonged in the Matrix. Like I kept thinking of the Matrix music a lot. And also the orchestral music was really good. But there was also a lot of like electronic. It was like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Like GoldenEye, I remember they kind of went for it with the electronic orchestral music, and it paid off. But it was kind of a risk because it was the first time they'd done that. And this is the same era.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm in for it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move to a 4 cheese. 4 cheese, not 5 cheese yet. We figured out that 5th cheese, didn't we? It was some sort of
butter.
Provolone.
Provolone.
the Provo.
There was like a low fat one.
Yeah,
too.
right. It was like a skim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this is the 4 cheese. So, and I want to talk intro. So this whole opening sequence with the saint as a child.
Ooh,
okay.
yeah.
So the whole
Cringy.
There's a lot to talk about here. First of all, the movie just starts with a real whooping. Just a real
Yeah. Ben texted me that right when he started this movie.
I go, that is the most aggressive spanking I've ever seen at the start of a movie.
It was a beating. This
These poor fucking
PG-13.
orphans,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
This movie was PG-13, right?
Yeah.
PG-13, yeah.
PG-13. Yeah, just
and the silhouette of it.
yeah, right. This that silhouette. That was like 7 O's. That was a whooping. Anyway, and then so he kind of sort of fleeces the priest and takes his keys and all that stuff, and he like releases this sort of caged food.
See, that's bringing it back to the topic we had earlier about him being like this Robin Hood, that he never had this arc where he was turning, like he's doing all this money for himself. From the beginning, since he was a child, he took all that food for all those other kids. He never took any for himself.
Oh,
he gave it to everybody else. And then at the end, he did the exact same thing. So I feel like there wasn't, I mean,
I'm going to have to revisit the end and see if it says that he gave his $50 million away.
it just mentions on the
It
radio.
doesn't say that
It mentions on the
radio.
radio, like the radio announcement, like, and it fades off. It disappears because there's no more talking. So you have to really listen to it. But it talks about there was a anonymous donation and a startup of a non-for-profit.
I just think that completely flattens his arc.
Maybe he gave
I
50
think
million of the $3 billion. It might have been.
I feel like I'm just like selfishly reluctant to buy into that because it literally kills the movie.
It's just weird that it was 50 million exactly. When
I
he
do
says
not
it.
remember that happening, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying it.
The whole point is he's a thief and he goes straight because because he falls in love. It's beautiful.
Are you
It's
talking
simple
about
and
while
beautiful.
the credits are rolling, it says that over the radio? Or
No, well,
It's as the credits are rolling, and it,
Yeah.
and
It's
then
as the credits
and
are
then,
rolling.
and then all the subtitles, all the things, because I turn them on so I can hear like details, and I turned it on at the end of the before, like to listen back on it, and it started talking about it, and it said a nonprofit got a donation and a startup all funded through this $50 million donation that was anonymous, and then
it
it
kept saying
stopped.
like $3 million goes to this, $3
Yeah.
million goes to this. Yeah.
someone in the comments check us. Is Grizz right? Is Grizz
Fact
wrong?
check us.
We
Let me
want to
know.
know. We
Yeah.
want to know. You tell us. We're still in this 4 cheese, and we had a dog push a young woman off a balcony. Like that was
Those vicious dogs.
like that was a strange way. I mean, when a dog attacks, you're usually expecting like a bite or maybe like a clawing. Usually not like a shove. That's usually not like the way the dog gets you. But these were trained to push children off balconies.
Could have been a worse fall too.
The old pushing dogs.
Back in that day,
Push shepherd.
the push shepherd.
the push shepherd, yes.
Yeah.
Falls are always weird. Falls are always hard to do. You know, you got the Hans Gruber famous, probably the most famous fall from the top of the building.
Do you
there.
know what makes that fall so great?
Yes.
What? Because he's actually falling and you see his hair come up and stuff?
No, because
They
he
dropped
was
him.
told he was told he was going to get dropped on the count
Oh,
of
that's
3,
right, that's right.
And they like dropped him on like the count of 1. So it was
so
like
good.
they dropped him like before he was expecting. So it was a very genuine sort of reaction.
He did fall.
There's
Yeah,
a
he
lot
fell
of
like 10
there's a lot
feet
of
or
really
something,
bad
yeah.
falls that are like comped in or like just really bad and weirdly CGI'd or whatever.
How do you
And
feel about this fall? Like the jump that he did onto what was clearly a cushion.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very good.
oh no, well I was talking about the girl falling. Well that was just stuntman. I'm talking about when you show the face of like an actor actually falling. This happens in movies quite a bit where you see somebody fall and it's always so it's up until
Like in
recently.
True Lies when he's skiing down the mountain backwards and then around. It's just the guy.
Well, just falling from like a height, you know, it's always wonky. They've never been able to really get it to look good until
Die Hard
recently
did it
with
the best.
CGI. Die Hard
Well
did it
done.
the best.
Yeah.
Die Hard was the gold standard, but there was a lot of really
right.
badly done. And I think in The Saint, it could have been a lot worse when the girl fell. It wasn't like weirdly janky, you know. So
But when he jumped,
Yeah, when he rips
I know,
his
but I was trying to
when
stay in the
yeah,
hot
where-
pocket.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
when it
Yeah.
freeze frames on his face and he rips off the mustache real quick.
yeah,
and he smile.
that's what I was like. Wait, he's got time to rip a mustache off in midair, like.
So to round off this 4 cheese, this is a deep
Deep
4
for
cheese.
cheese. Yeah.
The face morph at the end of the intro. How do we feel about that?
It was fine.
fine.
I don't know,
Fine.
man. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Ben, but I respect it.
I mean, to me, it fell under the category of being on the nose. Like, okay, that's the only way you're going to get me to know that he's the same person as the kid.
Sure.
Like, you
Right.
literally have to morph his face. Like,
Right.
come on, treat your audience a little smarter than that. However, that being said, practically just the specific effect itself held up.
Yeah, you could have seen him doing anything, like playing with the knife as
Yeah.
a child, and
Or a
playing with the
picture
knife
or something, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
literally showed and did not tell.
Yeah. Well, great. Good. SDTs.
Yeah.
This movie has them.
So, what do you guys think is in the Supreme Pizza Hot Pocket?
You asked us this before, and I think
Well,
the answer
was it Supreme?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the answer was green pepper, onion,
pepper,
sausage, and
sausage,
pepperoni. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I nail it?
Onion? Is onion on
Onion might be.
Supreme?
But
On a
that
Supreme,
crust
I
has
I
got
guess
to be
like raw red.
that
green
crust has
red.
got to be blasted with something.
I don't know. You didn't ask me about the blast.
Yeah,
You just
we
asked me
asked
about
you
the Supreme.
what's in
Now
the Hot
it's
Pocket? I mean,
crustin'.
it's
Well, you're asking what's
crustin'?
on the Hot Pocket. I'm talking about in the Hot
Yeah, we're talking
Pocket.
about in.
I feel like it's
Do they blast the
prime
inside of the
ingre-
pastry?
Yeah,
well, no,
prime
they
ingredients.
blast the
They
whole
might.
pastry gets blasted.
They might
I feel like
blast
there's a bit
the
of
inside.
There's a specific person in the process that blasts it.
yeah. He just blasts it, and like I feel like it's like an oregano blast maybe on this one.
Damn it, Ben. I was trying to keep a straight face.
In the factory, there's a person that's job titled Blaster.
Call in the blaster.
Hot Pocket Blaster.
That's on after the ambrosia list.
So there are several parts of this film where our man, the Saint, kind of walks around, like he knows what he's doing. Like, and I think that happens right after the intro when he's kind of the Russian guy that just kind of walks. He just has that kind of, people don't question who he is because he just sort of has the right outfit. He's kind of got the swagger, and so they're just like, oh, I don't question this guy. And so I just wanted to bring up the point that, it really is interesting. Like if you walk around places like what you're doing, you can really get into anywhere and do basically anything. And I read this on Reddit once. If you carry a ladder around, like they'll let you in like to the White House. Like they'll just anywhere you want to go. You want to go into a movie theater. You want to go backstage at a concert. You want to go just carry a ladder around and be like, oh yeah, we're working on that in there.
Yeah.
And they'll just let you right through. So I thought Val did a great job of that in this movie, just kind of walking around like he knew what he was doing.
I agree.
And I think that's just kind of the key to life, really. Just
And that's how I
walk around like
see
you know what you're doing.
That's how
Just
I see every
confidence.
movie. I walk in with a ladder and I put it down and I go see the movie I want to see and then I leave with the ladder.
Sneak in with a ladder?
I bought a Walmart vest and I go in and pick up a TV and then carry it out.
Exactly. You just walk it right out the back and no one says anything.
I mean,
No one says
also
anything.
as a profession of having a photography background, I mean, I can carry a camera with a big lens, and for the most part, I can walk in and around anywhere I want.
We've done that many
Convention
times.
halls, events.
Nick,
Pro tip.
In that, sorry, were you going to say a pro tip or that was the
No,
pro
that
tip?
was the pro tip.
In the same vein, who did the better Russian soldier disguise? Val Kilmer sneaking in to wherever he snuck into here, or you remember when Tom Cruise played the Russian? He snuck in.
Yes.
Which one was the one where they snuck into the Kremlin?
That was that was Ghost Protocol.
Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
So
He was actually.
Yeah,
Did you? So you like Tom Cruise as
way
as
better.
Russian
I just
guy
watched it
better
with
than Val?
Crosby, and we both were like, "That's awesome!"
Yeah,
Like
they're
it's so
both
good.
really
And then
good.
when he leaves, he like reverses the jacket, rips off the stash, like
Yeah.
all the stuff.
Tom Cruise could have done
Well,
this.
that's kind of this did it first though, because he kind of does the same thing. He walks in as a Russian soldier, and then he walks out. Well, I'm not sure if that's that's the same time. He walks out, he jumps, rips the mustache off. He's the drunkard. Then he passes the drunkard guy on. Then he turns into the tourist. So it's kind of it's very similar to Tom Cruise took a page out of this movie's book. I guarantee you. Christopher McQuarrie
and
saw
then
the
did it
Saint.
better.
Yeah, but
sure.
But also at the same time, like they took this from Mission Impossible because they were doing the disguises and the faces,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
the masks right before this.
It's all very well. There was never a mask on this movie, so I don't know why.
No,
they
I
call it
meant
the mask,
like the
but-
disguises. I think this is the poor man's Mission Impossible.
Well,
Their answer to the.
But the Saint came out before Mission Impossible, so
In the
Wait,
beginning
did it?
when he
the original Saint came out before Mission Impossible.
No,
yeah.
this movie.
But the Saint, there was an original movie called The
Oh,
Saint that
gotcha.
came out in
Yeah,
the
yes,
70s that this is a remake of,
Yeah.
and that came out before Mission Impossible.
Got it.
in the beginning when he has the the full mask on and he pulls it off and then he's got a mustache and a wig on.
Oh right.
Oh, you're talking about the black,
The wetsuit, yeah, the black,
Okay,
yeah.
That reminded
not like a face
reminded
mask.
me of Mission Impossible of when they pull off the full mask
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this has been a hearty Supreme Pizza here.
Hot Pocket.
And now we're going to move to the barbecue recipe beef. And we talk often about how there's barbecue chicken, there's barbecue beef, but the one with the proprietary recipe with the extra zing is the beef, the barbecue beef.
Sure.
So with all that said, we're going to talk about the Coke Watch.
So good.
Yeah, Grizz, talk to us about it. It's a watch.
Grizz watch.
Guys, we got to bring this back. We got to bring back fake watches that crack open and are just filled with cocaine. I really believe in this. I think it should be a thing that we do in 2025.
I believe in it too.
We're coming into a new year. Yeah. We should be doing this.
Did you
Coke
guys get
watches.
stressed when the breeze blew the Coke off of the watch?
Yeah, but he's
like close the lid.
Yeah, but he's filthy rich. He's
I
probably
know,
got plenty
but it's
of that.
like just I got a little, you know.
I'm a little weird.
a little too much
I
for
didn't
me.
get to see the actual watch, like what watch it was. It was just I can't even imagine the front of that thing looked decent because it was such a thin piece of metal that he cracked open.
Yeah.
So it probably looked super shitty.
Do you want to talk about more watches?
No.
Okay.
No, just the Bulgari. I mean, we talked about
We
the
already
Bulgari
talked about
earlier.
the
We
chronograph,
talked the Bulgari. I think that's all of them. I don't think there's any more.
How much is that Bulgari?
That's what I had to figure out. So this movie came out and they specifically have it in this movie, the Bulgari they came out with 100 limited edition Bulgaris chronographs that said the Saint at the top. And it was Paramount was the company that made it. And they sold these for like $3,000. Now they're worth like 5 or 6 now. They're super collectible. But I want to say like they were worth like $2-3 at the time. So that chick was making back her money that she said she was like, oh, I want 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, all right, 7. And then I think she just kind of swindled him for the extra few.
She did not debate well at all.
Oh, no.
She was just like,
neither of them did.
10?
Yeah.
And she was like, no.
He lost
He goes,
$7,000 in
7?
a watch.
All right,
It was such a stupid scene. I was so bugged out by the whole thing. What was the point of that anyway? That he went down there? That was all completely unplanned. He didn't plan on going down there to meet an art dealer, right?
She just got warmed up and revived in this secret safe house, and they escape through the sewers, and he runs into this weirdo person.
Right, that was all just random though.
Yeah.
He didn't plan that in any way, shape, or
No,
form.
he had no plan to that.
They were just like, hey.
ran into this random person.
Yeah, okay.
It was just part of the adventure, just another person they run
Part
into.
of the adventure.
Just like the people they run into in this apartment.
This can be a quick beef taco. I wrote this down. Who said this, Brian? You know all the quotes in this film. Who said "suck me sideways"? I don't.
That was Lloyd from
Elia said that right outside of the vault.
Okay,
Oh,
right. Good call.
I'm telling you, dude, I can
Good
fucking
call.
quote this entire movie.
I'm
Yeah,
impressed.
nice. Okay,
But did they quote that? Did they quote that from Dumb and Dumber? Because he goes, "Suck me sideways"
I don't think so.
in Dumb and Dumber.
That was right after he's like, "Guns make me nervous."
Yes. Good beef taco. Okay. Cheeseburger. What kind of cheese is in the cheeseburger? Just
Cheddar.
Standard
With
cheddar.
the sesame seed
Kind
crust?
of more of a sharp cheddar, I would think.
Sesame seed crust?
Oh yeah. Well, sesame seed.
Yeah, like a sesame seed.
There's
crust.
no sesame seed.
You don't blast the sesame seed.
Hey.
It just a bounce right off.
the blaster is not involved in that.
Okay, nothing's been blasted.
No
on the
blaster on that. No.
Yeah. I love how this was actually really just great. It's one of those kind of, I don't know if this was unintentionally funny or not. Please clear this up for me, guys. When he's on the plane and he's just like swinging around the jewelry for that woman. He's like, this is how he attracts women. Is this he just kind of swings around jewelry and then they just kind of flock to him and then fall in love?
That part was very absurd, but yes, he created that character in order to seduce a specific type of woman, and he seduced her.
He sure did.
Mesmerized.
Can we talk real quick, since we're talking about the different characters? Can I ask the room who's your favorite of his 10 personas?
Oh, definitely.
Oh,
And this doesn't include, so I'll read the 10.
Yeah.
So
it's
this
easy.
isn't normal him. These are the 10 other ones. So in chronological order, he's a Russian soldier, then he's the drunkard, then he's the American tourist with the headphones and the camera, then he's the suave Spaniard who's on the plane, then he's the
yeah,
he's got like he's got the jewelry
he's
that
the doors. He's the doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so when he's the Spaniard, he's like got the red in the black suit, and he's like kind of like hypnotizing the chick or whatever.
doesn't he have the sideburns?
Yeah, there's sideburns.
Yeah, the crazy
on.
sideburns.
So the suave Spaniard. Then you got the flamboyant German who offers the lip gloss to Ilya. I liked him a lot. Then you have mumbo jumbo guy, and then you have the artist Thomas More. He's kind of the one that she falls in love with. And then you've got Ivan. So he dresses up as Ivan.
Yeah, that was
great. He literally becomes Ivan, and he looks at the other Ivan, and he acts surprised that the other Ivan's there.
That was good.
And then you've got old janitor lady who puts the little tracking device, and then you've got the goatee hat guy who's kind of the most like Doc Holliday off of Tombstone. He's August Christopher. So those are your 10. Who's your favorite?
But you forgot the last one.
The what?
Did you write down? Oh, Christopher. I was thinking of the professor with the messed up teeth. Who's that?
That's mumbo jumbo guy.
Oh, mumbo jumbo.
I call him mumbo jumbo guy. You don't believe in this cold fusion mumbo jumbo, do you?
Okay,
For me, it's definitely old janitor lady. That is.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. I was going to say mumbo jumbo guy. He
Mumbo
showed up
jumbo
twice in
guy
this
is
movie. It was
hilarious.
fucking awesome.
No, actually, my real answer is Thomas More. Just my very favorite. We're gonna dig into that.
Thomas
little bit more.
More is so fucking good. I love that character.
It's an A++.
And Mumbo Jumbo's guy is the one that makes me laugh the most. But I love when he's like I said before. I love when he's Ivan and he acts surprised to see Ivan. Yeah, it's good.
So let's do meatballs and mozzarella. Brian, maybe you can clear this up for me because I truly don't understand this. So, okay, big plot point. He steals the microchip at the start.
Oh, God. Here we go. I don't even know if I can. All right. Go.
Right.
Hit me.
And then they hire him after he robbed them. Then they hire him to work for them after he
because there was
stole
a scene
from them.
There was a scene that explained this because I was wondering the same thing where the Russian main guy, the father of the main henchman, he even says in the thing, he goes, I just respect him. Like he respected him. Like he said something like in that vein or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, I get that.
What are they hiring him to do again?
That. Think about if you were robbed by someone.
They were hiring him to get all the information from the scientists.
They wanted the cold fusion information
to then profit off all the cold fusion.
So they recognize. So game recognize game. So they understand if for him to have broken in and done this to us, he has to be the best. Let's go ahead and hire him. I think it's very unrealistic.
That's like someone breaks into your house, takes all your TVs and all your stuff, and then you figure out who it is, and then a couple weeks later, you call and say, "Hey, man, could you come work for me and rob some stuff for me?"
I mean, hey, not give any of my stuff back.
Not give me my stuff back.
Think about
what the fuck.
Think about a lot of huge companies. They like social media companies, whatever. They will hire hackers that hack into whatever their whatever, and then vice versa
but they don't
for gambling sites or video game site or whatever it is, or even government or
but that's digital people that have gotten past a firewall.
No, that's people that were trying to be bad actors against a company and were trying to take down the company. Well, not all of them.
They didn't actually steal anything from them. They just broke through a firewall.
Intent was there. But I'm glad you brought that up because my point here was Ivan's not just you at your house getting broken into. He's fucking like the most rich oligarch in charge of the entire country.
It's a little
he's
different,
got all this. He's a mafia leader, right? So he's going to behave a little bit. It's all business with him. It's not personal. It's all business. It's just all about that dollars and cents, and he wants the most power. And so I feel like it's more realistic. It's not just like getting your apartment broken into because I feel like he would recognize, okay, this guy's about to make me 10x what I was going to make him for, and remember, they're going to kill him either way. They're going to kill him. They're going to use what they've done is they've realized we can not only use this guy's talents, but we'll kill him anyway to get vengeance. So it's not as far fetched as maybe.
But wouldn't the saint be smart enough to know that he's getting, that I don't know.
Doesn't he end up being smart enough?
No, I think he's smart enough because he ends up telling him in the club. Each other. He tells him at the club. He's like, "Hey, I'm dressed as you. You're going to call my accountant and you're going to transfer me over as much money as I ask you to do." And he made sure there were assurances in place.
That was the thing it was a double cross. So they're like, okay, so first of all, you have Val Kilmer who steals from them. And then they go, all right, we're going to use him to steal somebody else, but we're going to kill him. They use him to steal something else. He gives it to them. They decide to kill him, but then he gets them back by going into the club and and making the accountant transfer it when he dresses up as Ivan. So it's kind of like a triple cross a little bit.
And
I think no one trusts
double cross a triple cross.
Double cross a triple cross.
Basically, bottom line is no one's trusting anyone here, and it's a bunch of thieves and shady, very smart and connected people double crossing each other, and I find that thrilling.
Interesting.
That got really
thrilling.
The way you said that was great.
That got really complicated really fast, and I want to just kind of simplify things with this chicken bacon ranch.
Chicken bacon ranch.
I want to talk about how our man the saint, he talks to himself so much, and it's so weird. He just reads the letters he writes out loud and just kind of just says things to himself as he walks around. It's just strange. It struck me as strange.
Yeah.
And he took me out of it a little bit.
He does talk to himself out loud, but he also there was also a monologue, right? Did they have he has a
Well, he records himself talking and then plays that back to himself.
Right, but there was a lot of that throughout the movie.
There's some of that, but he also just talks to himself. When he's by himself, person. And it is a little weird. Yeah.
So two things there. Number one, a lot of the times where he's recording himself to remember later, that's people do that, right? That's not talking to yourself. That's actually, it's like taking notes.
That's not that weird. But
the parts, but then you're right.
You don't type a letter and read it as you're typing it. It's just, that's weird.
Well, but I'm saying, but I'm talking about when he's recording, he's talking into a recording device because later he's listening back to his recordings. In his apartment.
That was supposed to be?
Yeah, he goes and he cases places and he records what he's saying.
Yeah, I
right?
get that.
Now, but the other side that you're talking about is him just talking to himself for exposition, right? here's one thing I'll say about that. Yes, that's cheap. Yes, that's, tell, don't show or whatever. But I do think that he's an actor. He's playing an actor because he's playing a character who becomes 10 different personas or more. And so he's sort of like practicing his lines. Remember when he was in the mirror and he's like trying to become the soldier? He's like, he's like saying the lines, trying to. So some of it maybe is I don't know, but
okay,
for what it's worth.
All right, I've been looking forward to this one a lot.
I saw a smile come.
I know. I'm excited.
I was like, oh, what's this going to be?
This is going to be a ham and cheese. And we're going to talk about the Percy sculpture scene where it's where we're introduced to Thomas More. Yes, kind of sprawling on the bench.
Do you like it?
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Like
that was it.
Maybe I'll take it to my home in Africa.
Brian, you really. I'm sorry. You took all my thunder.
Oh shit!
boy.
Dang it, dude!
Jeez.
Jeez, way to be for yourself here. Let the man have
Thomas
his moment.
Moore says a lot more than
Let him
that.
have his moment.
No, there's a lot more. There's a treasure trove.
You destroyed it for me.
Reach into the treasure
But
trove.
I was just gonna say.
There's a lot of Thomas More.
I was just gonna say, do you like it?
Oh, fuck. I literally stole the one line you were going to say.
Literally.
Let's rewind 10 seconds and live in that time.
Looking forward to doing tonight was saying, do you like it?
Ouch, man. I'm
Do you
so
like
sorry.
Do you like it? Because he says it more than once also.
See if I have some money.
He also says it when they get the wine together. About the wine. He's like, do you like it?
I want to hear more of your Thomas More impressions because they're constantly changing.
Okay, here we go. What do you search for? It must be destiny then.
Is he Borat or like what?
I don't know. That's how he does it.
It's
I
very
feel like.
Borat-y.
Yeah, I feel like I'm nailing it. That's just a South African accent. It's kind of a lot of different accents. No one really knows
I like
what
when
it
he's
is.
like, what else do you keep in there? She's like, nothing. He's like, that's not true.
And were you guys getting I was getting a big Fabio vibe.
Yeah.
Kind of with the hair.
Yeah,
Very
Yeah.
very.
you could tell it was a wig,
Fabi-esque.
and he's like, trying to push it around.
Sorry, the flying kick that takes him down after he
Okay.
escaped.
Okay, for our audience who has no idea what these two just changed the subject to,
Sorry.
can you please explain what you're
So
laughing
they escape.
at?
They come out of the tunnels underneath and the car, and then they get out of the car, and they
Perfectly underneath the bad guy.
he tries to do a distraction by taking all the attention to him.
He is an Elia.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Val Kilmer.
she's running towards the embassy, and
Elia does a jump kick.
If you're running
Yeah.
full speed at somebody, and someone's also running full speed in front of you, and you're chasing him, what are you thinking is going to get them or stop them as fast as you can? If you're just coming up a little bit short,
you tackle
Dive.
you dive
tackle.
forward.
Right.
Yep.
You don't
don't
jump backwards.
jump
and Jump kick.
If you have a cane and a ponytail and you're Elia Trediak, if you're a fucking Trediak, you do.
Right.
a
Ben-
fucking cane.
Ben, I have one question for you about
Swing the
that.
cane.
Do you like it? Okay.
How much? And do you you know how his
I
watch?
live for the Ben giggle.
It's so funny.
You know how his watch? He's got the cocaine watch.
Yeah.
Well, he also has the cocaine cane. That thing's probably fucking full of
Oh,
cane.
yeah.
He probably calls it the cocaine.
it's like the Willy Wonka.
the cane.
C-A-Y-N.
The Willy Wonka cane, just full of.
That thing's full of it.
Speaking of full of it, we're going for a chicken pot pie next.
We're done with
Hell
Thomas.
yeah.
Are we done with
Yeah.
Thomas More?
We don't have to be. I could talk
How many more
all
quotes
night.
do you guys have?
Brian, what are you searching for?
Oh man, he's so good.
Here's a note I had under this chicken pot pie. Buys the 400-pound wine with crotch money.
Yeah, underwear money.
You notice that?
Yeah, that was nice.
Just pulls it out.
I just love how much of a flex that was. That guy's like, the Latour 54, whatever it is 200 pounds a bottle. He goes, in that case, we'll take 2. And he reaches in. That's good.
Mhm. Like crotch money.
It's a very close shot of the crotch, too.
I know,
It
he
was
just whips
super
it.
close.
I know
Was there
the
dick
mic,
root?
you can almost see the money look damp.
Yeah. It had been down there a while.
Like they've been shooting all day, and he just left it there.
Yeah.
I want to. By the way, I want to go have a bottle of wine in that inn or wherever they were at.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
that.
Yeah,
That
it was a
place
cool
is
venue.
amazing.
We haven't done. Did you know they did a sloppy Joe over at Hot Pocket?
No.
What?
What?
Yeah.
This is the first time hearing
man.
of this.
Yeah,
This is the first.
little slop Joe.
Love sloppy joes.
Okay, let's talk about leaving poetry books behind for chicks to pick up and how that might go in real life. You guys ever leave a poetry book on
feel
a
like-
bench for
I feel like you're setting us up. Have you done this before?
No.
But he might.
But it seems like it worked on
allegedly.
Elisabeth Shue.
I got to say, not only have I barely ever read a poem, I've absolutely never written a poem or thought about it. So if I left something behind, it would be like a picture book.
It's a Where's Waldo?
A Where's Waldo?
Yes.
I would leave her a Where's Waldo.
All right. Now we'll just move on to a spicy beef nacho.
We just left the sloppy Joe there.
Yeah, we're done.
And we're done.
We're done.
We're going
We're
to the
done.
next
Yeah,
one.
Spicy beef nacho. We're still kind of in the same scene though. How about when he just kind of after they're drinking the wine and he just Elisabeth Shue says, "Because you're beautiful," and then he just grabs the wine and just storms off, and then he kind of does that little setup.
Mhm.
But just another great. What's his name? Thomas
Moore.
Thomas More.
He goes, "I was weeping and thinking of you, and I slip. I don't know."
Yeah. I don't know. But then right before that, in his regular voice, he looks at himself. He's like, "What are you doing?" Like, I kind of like that. You're starting to see him. You remember when he says that?
Yeah, I
right
like
before
that.
he cuts himself, he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, looks in the little
I
mirror.
didn't get that right away, but
And he's
10 seconds later,
he's
I got
going.
it.
He's like, "Wait, what the fuck's happening? Like, this chick is like having an effect on me.
Right,
Like I'm actually caring about her." And then you get to the apartment, and he chickens out, and you think he's not going to double cross her, and then he does. Not double cross. He doesn't double cross her. He just crosses her.
I mean, there's so many crossings.
There's
I don't
crosses.
know.
So much crosses.
A lot of crosses.
A lot of religious crosses. Yeah.
So now,
Literally crosses in the movie.
And they're literally
how about an applewood bacon, egg, and cheese with that croissant crust?
go for it.
Croissant.
Hit us. Hit us.
I love the Elisabeth Shue quote, maybe my favorite quote in the movie. It's when they get back to her apartment and she's cleaning him up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Take off your pants. I mean shirt." Whoa.
Yeah.
No one accidentally says,
Little on the
like if the
nose.
word like sounds similar to shirt or jack, you know what I mean? Like maybe, but like she was going to say shirt, not pants. It's like you don't really confuse the, I mean, she wanted the pants off. I get it.
Yeah. And it's Val Kilmer in the mid 90s.
Let's talk about a little bit more dialogue here since we're on the topic. I did love, like, seriously, I loved the where it just hit so hard when Simon is sort of, Emma has told him, you betrayed me, you still stole everything from me. She's kind of dumping on him or whatever, and he's realizing whatever. And he's like, I had to take to steal Cold Fusion. And when she says, "I would have given them to you if you'd only asked," like that has to hit. I love that piece of dialogue because like he had her. Like,
right.
Well, he didn't have to steal from her. She would have given him anything. And I feel like that's what cut him deep. That's the line that really cut him.
was good. Yeah,
do you think her turn was just super quick? Is that just me? Or she just was just like, "Oh yeah, I definitely fell in love with this guy. I would give him whatever he wanted, especially something worth billions of dollars for him to make money for himself."
I think he just swept her off her feet.
I think so
during
too, but he
that
also
day.
lied the entire time to
in
sweep her
one
off her feet.
afternoon where
Yeah, it was like
I
one
think
day.
sets himself.
Well, sorry. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I thought that was a very, very
It's
fast
24 hours. I think she doesn't have a social life. Like she's all wrapped up in her science. She doesn't have a social life. She's not good with people. She even says it. He kind of comes on to her and he's like, "Sorry, I'm not good with people," which clearly he's great with people.
Yeah.
But that's why he's got all those chicks leaving him those messages. He's got chicks in every single continent. You realize later.
He's got hoes.
But actually
In different
realize
area
right now.
codes.
But with her, she's like, "I'm not either," right? So you kind of get the setup, even though she's this just 10 out of 10 smoke show, amazingly brilliant
Smoke show.
whatever.
I was
It's
kind
like,
of hoping she'd have
absolute
like
smoke show.
glasses and like her hair was like all up and like, everything. And then she had to like take off her blouse and like her glasses.
Like she's all
puts
that.
her hair down and just like one of those scenes.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for
well,
it.
anyway, yeah, it's like she wouldn't have been like that, but they're trying to sell it that
Yeah,
she doesn't
I
have
get
any
it.
friends or anybody, and this guy comes and sweeps her off her feet. She just gets taken. She gets completely taken, and she's looking in the mirror in the bathroom, and she's like, "I can't." I think she even says out loud, "I can't believe this is happening to me." Like she's just completely blown away, and so that line harkens back to that. She's like, "You had me so deep that I would have given them to you. I would have given you my life's work." That's how much he had her. So good piece of dialogue there. And then I'll be remiss if I didn't say, I love Ivan. "Close the city, kill him, and bring her alive." Like, I love how he says, "Close the city."
I know that was what is this like Rome?
He's got
Like,
so
fucking
much
like
power.
200 BC. Like you can't just close the city, man.
That's up there with like when Biff Tannen's like, "I own the police" to Marty McFly, like in Back to the Future 2. I love those power plays there.
Okay, I think this is the most apt name of a hot pocket for what we're going to talk about, maybe ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's the sausage, egg, and cheese, and it's got that pancake crust. And we're going to talk Kilmer's bod.
Pancake crust.
We're
Does it
gonna
come
talk
with like syrup
and we're-
dipping sauce
Well, I don't know.
in like the corner of the box?
I haven't had it. I only hear it's a thing.
Kilmer's body.
I want to talk Kilmer's bod because here's why I want to bring this up. Back a long time ago in our Blade episode, we talked about there was a different time.
Stephen Dorff had an everyman body.
There was a different time in cinema, right, where the leading man, as long as he had just a bushy chest, you know, as long as he had some good follicles,
some chest cabbage,
right? Yeah, that's right, some good chest cabbage. It did the rest of his bod, as long as he wasn't just a big fat slob, it didn't really matter. Like you could just be kind of like in okay shape and still be the leading man and just still be hot.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Now you just got to have veins just popping out of your fucking eyeballs.
You got to be fucking jacked on that steroid.
Crazy how things have changed.
To have any sort of sex appeal.
Or you're in a comedy.
Yeah.
Or you're in a comedy, sure.
Fully clothed.
But I kind of just
Jason Segel,
I sort of appreciate, you know, a simpler time.
I appreciated
when
that
a
too.
man could just look like a normal man, you know, just with some chest hair popping and a normal bod. And it's not like he was in bad shape or anything, but it's just like you just wouldn't see that today. Like you would not have a film like this and a guy take his shirt off and look like that. It just
especially
isn't a
not
thing.
in an action movie.
When do we, I have a feeling, I have a vote on this, but where do we think that happened where it was like, that was the definitive moment in cinema where that became like the norm?
Marvel.
I have a point.
I was going to say, I feel like you know, Daniel Craig really.
I was going to say 2006, Daniel Craig, you know, Casino Royale. I think that was the
I think you might be
moment.
right. I think that was the
You know
moment.
what I mean?
I think that was it.
Like that feels like that
When
time
he walks
frame.
out of the ocean.
out
there,
of the water. Yeah, with that tiny ass.
Because you're used to like Pierce Brosnan would just looking like some little scrawny dude, you know, just like walking
Not
out
Halle
like
Berry?
Yeah.
You weren't looking at Halle Berry on that scene?
No, that's a different.
Wait.
What are you
Hold
fuck
on.
are you talking about?
Halle Berry's in
Not
Pierce
Swordfish.
Brosnan.
Not Swordfish.
Isn't Halle Berry? She's in a Pierce
She
Brosnan
is.
Bond,
Oh, she
but
is.
not a Daniel Craig Bond.
I'm talking about
I
the
got
moment
this
where
all
I'm talking about the moment in cinema,
damn it.
where men.
Stay
I'm
tuned for
cutting
episode
I'm cutting
50.
all this out.
Stay tuned for episode 50. We will be giving retractions.
I'm messing the whole thing up.
Yes, Casino Royale. That Bond.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
We were
think
like,
you're right. I think you hit it right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
When did Swordfish come out? That was Hugh Jackman. He was also big old
Jackman.
bushy, but he
Similar
wasn't
time.
jacked yet. He was right. It was right before Wolverine. Probably
He was just Hugh Man. He wasn't Hugh Jackman yet.
You jacked man.
Hugh Jackman.
So you can also get the pancake crust with the ham, egg, and cheese. So we'll talk that, and we'll talk. Remember that scene where it's like the mafia sort of party, and there's like rats
The rat
racing
race?
in the wall,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
and then they're just banging out lines as they watch rats run. Like I feel like times have changed.
Well,
You don't go to those?
I mean, it's post-Soviet Russia. Like everyone's starving to death. You know, like it's not the infrastructure's not quite.
Yeah, they probably ate.
They
those
couldn't
rats.
get the dogs in there. They had to get the rats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
something. I just thought
Very
that was
strange.
interesting.
It was memorable to me. Though. I remember that.
It was
scene.
memorable. Yes.
We also have. We have a TV show now. Humans versus hamsters.
Say what?
You know
haven't
about
seen
this?
that.
Wait, hang on. Go back. What's TV?
Yeah, what streaming service is that on?
It's a show where it's an episode,
Is that a Tubi
and
exclusive?
it is humans versus hamsters. Humans do the same thing as the hamsters, and they time them.
I'm still unclear what a TV show is. It's 2024. I don't know how to find a TV
A
show.
streaming
I know how to find like a
show.
streaming show.
It's an original on Tubi.
Yeah,
or
This
on-
sounds like a.
No, it's on Netflix.
It comes on before the Ambrosia list when the kids are still up.
Yeah.
I love. Here's another line that I'm just going to read verbatim from my notes here, and this will be a buffalo style chicken. A buffalo style chicken. He's feeding her pills from behind his butt. Do you remember that part?
Yeah, well, he's handcuffed. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like nibbling pills out of his hand.
Uh huh.
Oh yeah.
And then he says, "While you're down there."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and then
a
he says,
great
"While you're
scene.
down there."
I love that scene.
Yeah, I just thought that was.
Do you have a problem with where the pills physically were in space there? Like, do you have a problem with
When I picture a man feeding pills to a woman on her knees from behind his butt, it's just a strange setup.
But they're in the back of a paddy wagon with their hands cuffed behind their backs.
Yeah, man,
like,
where else are you
like I'm
supposed
not
to-
sure. Like,
Why does he have the
I'm
pills?
trying here. I want to like where what
He like held he like grabbed him out of that also didn't make any sense.
is it like
He,
a
took him
reference
out
to
of-
something else?
No,
I don't know.
it's like it's just a weird thing. You're like think about wouldn't that be strange if you were holding pills like right next to your ass and some woman was eating them out of your hand? I'd be like, that's
Well,
a weird thing.
he had pants on.
I don't think that was the part that,
that
you had a
wasn't the-
problem
But
with.
his hands are handcuffed back here.
All I'm saying, yeah,
I don't understand what we're talking about. Like what? Like
There's not. If this isn't like a deep
Brian,
analysis.
Brian is
okay.
full blown. If they're clothed, it is not weird. Okay.
I just thought that's a weird thing to be
sorry.
seeing on screen, like just someone feeding someone else pills like that.
I mean, are we going to talk about the?
I think it was to set up the next while you're down there. I think it was to set that gimmick up.
Are we going to talk about the pills later?
We can talk about the
about
pills
how
now.
that's not a plot point until that one scene.
But towards the end, but I might give 1 point for this. You know what I'm talking about.
I took 5 points off the movie for the fact that her heart's magically healed because she fell in love with him.
Yes, so I was like, maybe I'll add a point for this just because it's so stupid.
No, I took.
But at the end, she's like in the U.S. Embassy, and he goes, "Do you need any medications or anything specific before your flight?" And she's like, "Heart medication. I don't think I need it anymore."
she's like,
her
and
heart's
she's like,
healed.
that's strange.
Like
Yeah.
her, like her medical ailment
she
she's
the
had her entire life is no longer
She the
an
fucking
issue.
Grinch? What is she?
Yeah.
Heart grease.
I was
I was expecting like a zoom in of her chest, and it was just like this heart just grew
Yeah,
and just turned all red.
like love literally heals the organ in your body called your heart.
alchemy. Yeah.
It was take that out, please.
Take out the last like 10 minutes, please.
Yeah.
This has all just been a disaster.
Actually, I like the last 10 minutes, but are you talking about our podcast or the movie?
I'm talking about our podcast.
Because you said this has all been a disaster. No, I actually kind of like what you were saying, but never mind.
No, just take out what I said. You guys have been great.
We know.
Let's move on.
All right.
Cold fusion can't even light a tiny little light bulb.
Yeah. Sad. Chicken parm. Why did that hooker help them?
Yeah.
Because they're Americans and they gave her $100. No, that was her $100 already.
That was hers.
Also, why did she see them and go, I need to go towards
I need to
them?
help those Americans.
I think maybe that was to show that, like, sort of, yeah, we've got these evil Russians and oligarchs in charge and this mafia in charge, but they're still good people, boots on the ground. I don't know. Maybe.
That was a Cuban style. What's in there? Cuban. There's a ham. There's ham in there.
okay.
sure.
Yeah.
There's some sort of hot cheese, right?
Yeah.
What's Cuban style? Does anyone?
Cuban's got to be like, hell, I don't fucking know.
Cuban?
You got the list. Read it.
I'm reading it. Cuban style.
That's all it says. There's no ingredients.
Yeah, it just says
No,
fucking
like
Cuban style.
roast beef or some type
I
of.
feel like, what does a Cuban have? I don't get Cubans. I don't know. I know there's ham, I think.
There's a
what do you
dictator
dip
in there.
something? Is you dip a Cuban into something or
Yeah, there's a sauce.
dip it in?
Dictator sauce.
Dictator sauce.
Yeah.
dictator sauce.
That's a
Why don't we do a Southwest style taco and talk sewer art dealing? What?
in the underbellies of Russia.
What?
I love it. I actually thought that was super interesting, but it was just, I thought it was a different movie.
yeah.
That just didn't. It was a little bit of a non sequitur. It was just kind of like, okay.
It was just completely random. I don't understand if there was another connecting tissue where he met the art dealer somewhere else and she was like, hey, meet me over here somewhere for another deal.
I think it was equal parts absurd and a non sequitur. So equal parts that paired with creative and unexpected and memorable. And
It was memorable and unexpected.
could have been
I
any
agree,
other
I agree,
thing, but it
I
was
agree.
that. It's like some creative, some person thought creatively, like, let's have there be an art dealer down here. And it's like,
That-
sure.
That
All-
knows the sewers.
All that it was supposed to do was to show that there were drawings of the underbellies of Russia that he could use to
Yeah.
his advantage.
And I think, I mean, it could have been an art dealer, it could have been a drug dealer, it could have been a gun dealer, it could have been any kind of dealer. The fact is, it's somebody who's like hiding.
It would have been cool.
They're down. They
Should have just been
first
a
girl-
drug dealer.
It could have been cool if
come
it was the
on.
first girl he slept with was the art dealer, like in the opening scene.
That'd be a funny
something.
callback.
You know what I mean?
I didn't mind that it was an art dealer because I don't know, Russia has a lot of art. I don't know, Russia's not Tchaikovsky and all that shit. Fucking ballet,
Okay.
Olympics,
Sure.
Stolen art. I don't know.
Mozart. Wait,
How about
I'm just gonna
Speaking
say
of
names
that-
until Nick goes to the next hot pocket.
how about an Angus beef melt?
Sounds good.
What kind of cheese is in that melt? Provo?
White.
Bravo for sure.
Swiss?
Definitely
It's gotta
white.
be Provo.
Provo?
What a bad plan at the embassy. Why the fuck didn't they just wait for the bad guys to leave instead of like doing the whole blowing up the car, sprinting to the gates? Like just wait for them to go and then walk in.
Yeah, what was
because they were
time
parked over the
pressure?
top of the thing.
Yeah, they
over
were
the,
gonna.
they were over the sewer that they were coming out of, and they couldn't go anywhere.
But that doesn't have anything to do with any. Yeah, they could. They got out from underneath there.
Yeah, but they had this. He had to make it a diversion. He was like, they're literally standing around the car, a whole group of them with guns.
Weren't they going to leave at some point?
I mean, maybe just wait them out. But
well, I guess maybe the thought is that they know that that's where they're going, so they're posting up shop there, and they're going to intercept them before they get there. So they're thinking, why would they leave? They're here. They're going to wait for us to get here. They know we're coming here.
It seemed like a really bad plan.
Far stretch.
Yeah, really bad plan.
It was a
And it got him,
or at least wait for them to walk off somewhere else.
And it got him, and you know what? It got him jump kicked.
It did. It did. And
we would have missed that epic jump kick.
He got straight fucking Liu Kang'd.
Yeah.
It really did. It was the same pose and everything.
It was like the bicycle kick. Yeah. Boy. So how about just a straight up chicken Alfredo? The way he just gets to that Russian president, man, that was pretty easy. Like, how do you?
Yeah.
Is that you just kind of walked right in?
And he just calmed the whole situation. Mr. President, this is important. And that was it.
He's like, listen to me for 30 seconds. He's like, okay.
Yeah, that was just like you said earlier, Brian, the whole third act. They tried to squeeze so much.
The third act is 25 points off my score.
Yeah,
it's just
it was
way
not
too
great.
much.
It was like I looked at the last 15 minutes. There's just boop, 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 one thing after another.
I don't really have a lot of problems with this movie except for how egregious the last 25 minutes were. Even the kissing in this movie. What's her name? Elisabeth Shue's a pro. I mean, this good. I don't fucking care about kissing.
Val Kilmer's worse at kissing than Emily.
I know. That's how good she is.
Yeah. He's an ugly kisser. I'm sorry, Val.
Yeah.
So anyway, the last. Yeah.
Let's do a chicken fajita.
Hell yeah.
Hot pocket.
So why would what's his name? Tretiak?
Tretiak. Which one? Ivan or Ilya?
The older one.
The older one.
Older
Ivan.
guy. Mister.
Why the fuck would he do that cold fusion experiment at the end? Like, just say it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's performative.
Well, I think he's showing everyone.
Yeah.
He wants there to be like a live.
There's
revolution,
Russians.
Like
he had
right
to,
there.
He had to give
He
an
wants
example.
literally Karpov
Well, then
to
do
get taken
something
down.
that's definitely not going to work. Like, it's like not that hard to like.
Well, I think
make it not work.
Well, I think what's more unrealistic is that it actually works, which is the same side. Two sides of the same coin, I guess, is what we're talking about here. But yeah, he knows it can't work. It's cold fusion. It's not going to work. There's no way this is going to accidentally work. So what's more unrealistic is that it does accidentally
just
work.
don't even bother. Just be like, this guy, president, bought this stuff.
Well,
he's corrupt. And
I think maybe he wants Karparov to buy in fully that this is happening. Maybe he needs to set up the whole charade and the whole pageantry so that all the people who need to get taken down buy in fully. Whereas if it's sabotage and it's obviously not going to work, maybe they're not going to buy in at all. Only reason I'm pushing back there is because I think what's more unrealistic is the fact that it actually does work. It should never work.
Okay.
It should never have worked. That's so absurd.
Yeah.
That he goes in and tells that Russian scientist like
12 hours.
Here's the secret code, which is only on 2 Post-it notes. And the Russian guy looks at it and goes, "Oh yes, perfect, brilliant." It's like that's not how
this was
shit
facts
works.
to me last night.
Yeah. and then not only does that happen,
I thought they solved cold fusion
but then
in
the
this film.
experiment works. Like that shit would have blown up. Like there's no way. So that's what's more unrealistic. I can't abide that. That's
all right, guys. We're gonna finish on a white meat chicken, zesty tomato, spinach, cheese, and herb sauce.
Good Lord. What
Okay,
a
it sounds delicious
feast.
with the ranch blasted
blasted.
crust.
Whoa.
With the ranch blasted
yes.
crust, and we're gonna talk. Yeah.
Bow, ranch blasted, biatch.
Yes, I love it. So we're going to kind of talk that final twist. So all of the a good movie has a good final twist, and I have to say this movie tried and didn't quite pull it off. She's just going to give the formula away, okay, and then as you kind of talked about earlier, Brian, and then our saint, he just doesn't care. That's sort of his arc, right? But it's also like, of course he doesn't fucking care. He has $50 million, but then you say he gave the $50 million away. So I don't even know if that's even a thing. And then kind of that final escape, right? Where there's just coincidentally some other sort of blonde haired guy walking off and then he drives off in the car. It was just very meh to me. I thought they tried. I appreciate they tried, to kind of put like a twist on it at the end, almost a double twist.
He's always one step ahead.
He's always one step ahead. It wasn't a total failure, but I just didn't think it was very good.
It wasn't very good.
Yeah, it wasn't
agree.
but not a disaster.
I didn't hate it. It just could have been better.
Could have been better.
Yeah.
But then where did what was the liquid, the heat?
Cold fusion?
No, not the cold fusion. The other thing.
Oh, all the oil buried underneath the Tretiak's palace?
Right. Where did that come in? Where did that go?
Well, they discovered all of that, and then they were. Then it said millions of Russians are heating their homes
they distributed
this morning because
heating
they
oil.
found the however many billions of dollars worth of reserves,
So
and they redistributed
They
it.
just wrote it off as like a subtitle. It was a major plot point, right?
It was
The entire plot point, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the whole point was that the Tretiaks were evil and they were causing the shortage and they were stealing
they were
all the
holding it
oil
together,
and
yeah.
hoarding
They were hoarding it.
They were hoarding the oil to cause the
That makes
shortage
sense,
to control it, and then they give it all. They find it and give it back. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a non-point to me. It's just like whatever. They're just evil and yeah.
It just felt like complication for no reason.
Yeah. All right, let's give some closing thoughts on this film. I'll start. I've gotten some nostalgia for this film. I saw this film in the theater, so I think I probably rate it. If I was like Ben and saw this for the first time today, I would probably be like, yeah, this movie kind of fucking sucked. I probably would have given it a 32. But I did see it when I was at an impressionable age, and
Where's the marker? Where's the fucking marker at?
Marker.
Grizz needs the marker.
This was
I'm
like
not trying to interrupt you. Sorry.
35 segments ago.
I
What are you doing, Grizz?
want to hear continue.
Go ahead.
I was just trying to help him out so I
Okay.
could refocus on you, Nick, because he was doing this.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't a camera just like watching.
We're on tape right now.
I don't even remember
All right,
what I was
nostalgia 32. You said the number
Nostalgia.
32.
saying. I gave it a
Yes.
58.
Nick, don't tell me. Come on, give me a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think this movie's fun. I think it's stupid. I think it's like a kind of a shitty, fun James Bond movie or a shitty, fun Mission Impossible movie. It's like just enough for me to enjoy, but not as good as some of its brethren.
Yeah. I think there are 3 movies we've done in our podcast that I probably have the most nostalgia colored glasses for, and I really try not to do that, but sometimes it's unavoidable. Hook, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and The Saint. Now, I think of those 3, the best movie is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think that movie is legitimately a great movie. Hook, I feel like I have nostalgia for it. I still think it's good, but I have some problems with it, but I still think it's great. I think The Saint, I'm just gonna look in the mirror and say I probably am rating this higher than I should, and I just can't not think with my heart on this one. I just thought the movie was really not only enjoyable, but it had some great filmmaking, some really memorable performances, and that's why I rated most of my rating is the performances. Elisabeth Shue and Val Kilmer are so good. Ivan and Ilya, great villains. The setting and all that were so good. And there's just so many little small things that kind of add up for me. And then the big few things that are bad are just not enough to take it down past, where I rated it. So I'm staying at a 64. Yeah.
That's a mad respect for you on that. I mean, that's crazy to put Ninja Turtles and Hook that high, as high as those two when it came to like enjoyability and like rose-colored glasses, all of this stuff. I can respect this. I was really expecting to put this in the 50, 60 plus range because I remember really enjoying this and having fun with it back in the day. But man, it just aged so poorly for me in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and give it an 11. I'm going to push it up 1 point. Or a, no.
Whoa.
But no, I think
troll move.
the only reason I give you that one extra point is because of the underground art dealing. I think that was just funny as shit.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Just kind of quirky and random.
None of it made that, everything was just so silly and off the top, but that was the funniest part. But this movie was, it was fun. I wouldn't recommend people to go watch it, but I have appreciation for it because I watched it back in the day.
Can I just please say one thing really quick? I fully respect the fact that you can, in the same sentence, say this movie was fun and also rate it low. I think that
is 11. Yeah,
I think that's a very you have a lot of wherewithal with that rating, and I respect that a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like you. You're like,
Thank you.
It's fun, but
you shouldn't. Don't do that.
All right, thank you so much, dear watcher and listener. We had some fun on this episode. We're going to do another episode. We're going to do episode number 50. Episode number 50.
50?
Holy shit.
50 episodes.
50 fucking
I never
episodes.
thought I'd hear that.
I know. That is
We really did
insane.
joke about that early on.
And here's the thing. We're going to do something a little different for episode 50. Something a little bit different. And it's going to involve talking about some of our top 100 movies. So we kind of all got together, talked about our top 100 films.
Yes.
So it's going to involve that in some way.
It's going to be an extravaganza.
It is.
Right?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a quick-hitting, super smart, award-winning episode. So please tune into it. We're going to have a lot of fun on episode 50. And we hope we'll see you then.
Later.
See ya.